free our circle from all that stressed. We trust the guardians, trust the guides, trust the open and what's inside. When the moon is high, it's time to fly. Open your mind, let it all unwind. Let's get disenraged, time to engage. Turn another page, free from your cage. Get disenraged. When you feel like you've had enough and the week was busy and tough, you need a break, you need some fun, you need to take time from the run. We'll blow your mind, we're just in time. Seek and ye shall find. Time to unwind, let's get disenraged. Time to engage. Turn another page, free from your cage. Get disenraged. Aliens, ghosts, spirits and shadows, spirituality, ultra reality, the Bible, the pagans, all the conspiracies, tarot, astrology, and alternate history. Open your heart to other possibilities and get disenraged. Time to engage. Turn another page, free from your cage. Get disenraged, 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 disenraged.
Well, Jennifer, we have finally arrived at a title of the show for tonight.
Not my fault.
Well, kind of was your fault. It kind of was. It kind of was. I will take partial responsibility. Reagan says, "Guys, my mind is playing tricks on me. The thumbnail said Illuminati, then it said conspiracy of everything, and now it's back to the original way." You know what? That was not your mind playing tricks on you, Reagan. That was Jennifer sending me a video for next week tonight that I didn't closely pay attention to what exactly she said, and I was like, "Why the fuck are we doing a different topic for tonight, Jennifer?" And then she's like, "Karlyn, is for fucking next week," and I was like, "I already changed the fucking thumbnail," and then I changed it back.
Because Karlyn is a professional and knows how to handle these things.
I am a professional at YouTube. All right, I'm a professional.
Oh my gosh.
So we're doing Illuminati and Bilderberg this week, and then next week we are going to start the conspiracy of everything, which we will do in 2 parts.
Yes.
See, I just needed someone to explain it to me slowly when I'm actually paying attention and not trying to do 15 things at once. That's all I'm saying. I was trying to be accommodating. I was like, oh, Jennifer wants to change the topic to a completely separate thing than what she told me we were doing yesterday. Fine, it's her week. I'll make a new thumbnail.
I probably would have put like in all caps, change of topic, because I've done that before, but I think it was like earlier in the day. It wasn't right before the show.
Well, that's a good note for next time. You are a Capricorn. See, I wouldn't have done that. I would have just been like, here's a new video, go. There's the difference between Capricorn and Aries. I'm just like, just do what I said. Just fucking figure it out, all right? And you're like, let me write you a fucking memo. And
Dear Karlyn, in light of the changing topic for tonight, I have found that we should scrub the video we had planned in favor of this new video that we will.
Well, okay. Well, we made it. We made it to the show.
We got it.
Jennifer, before we get into the show, I have a couple updates that I think are highly relevant to you as an erotic fiction writer.
Oh, no. Okay.
Okay, so the first update is I was doing some research last night, and I ended up on the City College of you know where this is going. I ended up on the City College of New York website.
Uh-oh.
And at the City College of New York, they have something called the Center for LGBTQ plus Studies. Whatever.
Sure.
It is exactly what it sounds like.
Yeah.
And then I went several layers deep into that website, and I found a series of video recordings that we're going to start watching tomorrow on the channel.
Uh-oh.
Because they hosted a Power of Leather workshop series.
Oh, no.
Yeah. They did. They hosted a Power of Leather workshop series.
That is vile. Is that supposed to be a zine?
And yeah, and oh no, that's Sophie. That's not relevant. And I thought I had the other videos up here, but I don't. But like, so we're gonna start watching this tomorrow, and we're gonna learn about BDSM and leather and kink, and that's gonna be tomorrow at 5 p.m. And if you're available, you should probably can consider it research, Jennifer.
So that'll be 3:00 my time. I will probably be packing. What is tomorrow? Tomorrow's Wednesday, isn't it?
You can listen and pack at the same time.
Yeah, I can do that. I can totally throw you on and listen to you on my portable speaker while I'm doing stuff.
It's going to be a long ass episode. We're going to watch I have 9 hours of these lectures that I downloaded last night because just in case CUNY, decides they don't want these videos on the internet more. I had to download all the videos last night and then upload them somewhere else.
Keep all the receipts.
Yeah, but we're going to do about 3 hours tomorrow. We're going to do a lecture and a panel, and we're going to learn a lot about kink and BDSM and leather and queer politics and stuff like that, and it's going to be awesome.
I wonder if my friend who's in England, he is a BDSM romantic erotica writer, and he's an expert in it. I wonder if I can he's in England though, so it's going to be late for him because it'll be midnight for him out there, but he's usually up till maybe 2 a.m, but I can reach out to him and see, you want to just pop in for me the first hour and just say what you think, because he actually designs kink toys and things like that. He's part of the healthy side of this community over in England, and he's just a lovely
job
person.
Designing kink toys.
Oh no, you just do it. He's got 3D printer. He also has a steel manufacturer that creates certain things for him.
You have to get a steel manufacturer. That sounds really complicated.
He does custom made collars that are engraved and handcuffs and things. And then he started doing some 3D printing, and he makes all kinds of stuff, spreader bars, all kinds of stuff.
Excellent. Well, we will definitely take his expertise if he wants to come and watch the leather workshop series with us tomorrow. I think that'd be really great. I'll see if he wants to pop in.
He's completely unashamed of it too. I mean, like, you can't embarrass him. I've tried. I think I got him to blush like once. He's part of my writing group on Discord.
I'm not prudish at all, but I feel like I might blush at several occasions tomorrow. I'm not prudish. I don't really care about talking, but like, I'm very kind of like childlike with sex, where I just think it's all fucking funny, because it is. Sex is fucking funny. Sex is hilarious.
It can be. It depends on your mental state. Should I explain to Bot what a spreader bar is?
Yes. Yeah, you should do that. Yeah, you should. You should draw a diagram and be like, and the feet go here.
Well, there are a couple kinds. There's some for the wrists and there's some for the ankles. So Bot, spreader bars are like, you have like a handcuff of sorts, not a cop handcuff. This is a special handcuff that is fitted to a bar that holds your arms apart.
Special.
So you can't push together. And same thing, and there's for the ankles, it holds the legs apart, so you can't bring them together.
Yeah.
That's why it's called a spreader bar.
See, these are the things you learn on this show. This is the important stuff. Yeah.
Hey, my friend in England's the one who taught me what it was, because I've never heard any of this crap either. I'm like very mildly on the surface because I knew some people who were into it, but I never delved into it. So when he was talking about all the things he made, I'm like, what's that? And then he'll tell me, and I'm like, I wish I hadn't asked. Because there are a couple things that just make me curl up in a ball. I'm like, no, no, never.
All right. Well, we're gonna have BDSM kinky time tomorrow at 5 p.m. and so everyone can come. I will take Jennifer's. Is Power Chat on? Oh shit! I don't turn Power Chat on so you can display it on the screen because I don't know how to do that shit. But I will look at the Power Chat. Hang on. Let me get the Power Chat up. I have another topic to talk about, but yeah, we're going to talk a lot about kinky shit tomorrow, and everyone can come. And not literally come as in COME, not CUM. Everyone get your mind out of the gutter.
Just keep in mind things like BDSM, if handled in a healthy way, it's all about respect and trust is what it's about. It's not. I'm sure there's the dark side of the fetish is there too, but usually, especially if you're in a dom and sub relationship, it is all about trust and respect, and the sub is usually in control. So like these people are not. Most people in it are just it's their thing they enjoy. It's their hobby, but it can get dark, and I'm wondering how these guys are going to handle it.
We watched a whole queer rope workshop like several months ago where we watched like several presentations of them tying each other up and talking about all this stuff because like okay, so for queer people, BDSM and kink is like a political statement. Like they're doing it to do consensual power relations and all this bullshit. And so one of the queer rope classes that we watched was a Muslim woman wearing a hijab getting tied up in the hijab.
Over the hijab?
No. Like the hijab was like, it was a big long old thing, and they used the hijab to tie her up as a political statement. And then they put her on all sorts of ropes, and then they hung her from something, and that was it.
That sounds kind of vulgar.
It was a little bit vulgar. Yeah, it was.
I feel like that's really disrespectful to Islam.
Yeah, well, I think that was the point again, because like it was like they're making a political statement about how Islam oppresses women by doing a sexual act, tying her up in the hijab and then hanging her from some sort of thing.
I got it. Okay. Well, that's, you know what? Freedom of speech, I'm all for it. Freedom of expression, I'm all for it. You want to make art, make art. I watched a woman once stick a white ball of yarn up her hoo-ha and knit a scarf.
No.
It was live performance art. It was in a glass cage. She was naked on a chair. She stuck a white ball of yarn, and every day she would show up and she would knit for like 2 hours, and it went through an entire 30 days. So her menstrual cycle.
How the fuck did she get the yarn?
On this yarn. Yeah. I don't know if she stuck an entire skein of yarn. I'm sure she did it in smaller sections at a time, and then she would, and so it showed her whole monthly cycle.
How did she get the yarn? I have so many questions.
Look it up. I'm sure
I don't want to look it up, Jennifer.
She was like pulling the yarn out from between her legs and knitting. And when she started her cycle, it was getting redder and redder.
Bro,
she knitted her entire menstrual cycle into a scarf.
Jennifer, why are you trying to destroy knitting for me? Why are you trying to ruin my favorite hobby?
I'm not really. Just people are. They do what they want to do, and some people thought it was so.
How did she get the yarn up there? I don't understand. Like the yarn is not hard. Even when you roll it into a ball, this is not hard. This is not a insertable type, and it's also really thick. And like, I mean, come on, like, I mean, thick is fine, but
I don't know how much she put up there at a time. Yes, menstrual yarn. That's exactly right, Fancy. So I think she probably Kegels was probably part of it. She may have had some kind of a
that's fucking
stopper.
Thick. And this is like half of a skein of yarn.
I would never try. That is thick. Well, maybe because she was doing it a little bit every day, so she probably only stuck a little bit up there at a time.
That is
thick. You're not getting that.
You're not getting that in. You're not getting that in nothing. It's not gonna work.
No, that's not. Yeah, I think she did just a little at a time. But yeah.
Pro tip: yarn is not a tampon. Yeah. Excellent.
But it could be, Reagan.
Excellent.
According to the whatever place in New York, some kind of art museum in New York, some gallery where they do performance art. It is.
Dang. All right, well, we did just get a power chat, so I want to acknowledge that. Owls Are Cool says, speaking of New York, I visited Coney Island the other day and saw my favorite public art installation, First Symphony of the Sea, an inspiration to my animist spirituality. Oh, I love that.
Yay, animist.
I love that.
Yes.
Cool. Well, I do have another update, and I think you're really going to appreciate this one, Jennifer, because this combines both big tech and sex.
Oh God, I'm gonna keep my mouth shut on all the things that came to my mind.
I had to tell you about this. I had to tell you. Okay, hang on. Which one is it? This one. Jennifer, how familiar are you with the band AC/DC?
Oh, I love AC/DC. They're
awesome.
You
are of the 80s. Okay.
Yes.
Are you familiar with a song called "A Whole Lot of Rosie"?
That sounds like one of their lesser known tracks, but I'm sure if I heard it, I might.
Do you want to hear it?
Yeah, let's go.
Okay. Oh, hang on. Gotta turn the sound up.
Stand up for the truth in Christ, which they profess to believe, and that's the biggest truth that we figure out.
This is the one. You never heard this one before? This one rules.
Oh,
it's so good.
Original singer. Okay,
This
got
might
it.
be my favorite song of theirs. About a woman I know. This is like their blues song. It's like a high-speed blues. Down, 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 down. Never had a woman like you. Rosie's crazy. Whole lot of woman. Whole lot of Rosie. She's a whole lot of woman. She ain't skin and bones.
Okay, so
Is this for you? Is he dedicating this?
Oh, it gets better. Yeah.
Oh, God.
This is a song about fucking a fat woman.
Oh, okay.
A woman that is far bigger than I am. By the way, because I did some math and it says 19 stone in the song, which is 270 pounds. I am nowhere. I just want to like disavow. I am nowhere fucking close to 270 pounds. I don't know how much people think I weigh, but Jennifer has seen me in person. Am I 270 fucking pounds?
I wouldn't even put you at 200. I mean,
I'm not at 200.
Yeah, I wouldn't even put you as high as up there. Like, neither of us are close to 200. I mean, that's so okay. Well, so anyway, it's a song lyric.
It's a song lyric.
Not necessarily saying that's
control that.
Yeah,
He is saying it is about fucking a fat woman. So let's continue. Hang on.
People like the girl.
It's been a journey. Like I said, I'm glad.
Should we remake it a whole lot of Karlyn? Whole lot of Karlyn! She's a whole lot of Rosie.
In like the 3rd century, when Constantine at the Battle of the Milvian Bridge pulled that bullshit and said, "In this," he heard a voice saying, "In this sign conquer," and he won the battle. The cross in the clouds.
What is he talking about?
Under the bottom line is the reason we have a movement is because, and the white people lead it. Is because that's what's
AI?
in the book. In Genesis
Oh my God.
1:26, it said
Look at
the
that.
Elohim created Adamites. That's the word. The Hebrew H120 is Adamite.
So
Body
awesome.
complected, can show blood in the face.
He found.
It's a racial book.
He had it
So
after ready.
Elohim made
He
Settle
had
down,
the
Turbo.
Groyper's AI of you.
No, I
found
made
that.
this. I made this
Oh,
and
you
I
made
put it
that
on
one?
my Twitter, and he just had it at the
Oh,
ready,
okay.
which is,
The Groypers did it,
another
though.
thing we're going to talk about.
Is he aware that he's using Groyper AI though?
It's not
Gonna be
Groyper AI. I made
Oh.
that. I made that the
Very
other night.
I don't
Oh, okay.
understand.
I thought it was.
Yeah.
It reminded me of that other one where like your
No,
nails changed
I
color.
was, well, that one's good too. No. I was playing around with like the Grok AI tool last night or the other night where I basically was like fucking around. So I took a picture of myself. I was like, what is it going to do to this picture? And it made me look kind of hot, actually. If
I
we're
think
being
you look great.
honest about it. And so I posted it on my Twitter. I said for the haters, because anytime I look good, like the people that hate me are going to get pissed off and they're going to like, have a hissy fit or whatever. So,
Yeah.
so apparently he saw it at some point and had the perfect moment to pull it up as he's talking about rewriting the song about fucking a fat shit to fucking me. And I just like, I was like, yo, what the hell?
I really think that he might be revealing his secret crush. I think this is happening.
Well, I think so too. I mean, obviously, like, come on, that's just a little, You know, I mean, it's okay. I don't mind. I'm just saying, Jennifer, that I feel like if he's going to write a song about fucking me, he needs to at least like do content with me or something first. And he needs to agree to that because
at least buy you a drink.
Yeah, this is what I'm saying. It's like, at least take me out to dinner, bro. Like if you want to fuck, like fine. But like if you like at least take me out to dinner or do something
virtually,
nice.
not literally.
Like,
Don't anybody
not this is an internet thing. This is not real life. The internet is not real life. No one started a fucking rumor or anything. But I'm just saying that I'm not an OnlyFans whore, and I expect there to be some sort of courtship before we get to the point where he's writing a song about fucking me.
Oh my god.
Anyway, I just had to share that with you. I thought you'd appreciate it.
You know, if someone's gonna write a song about sleeping with a thick chick, I mean, Fat Bottom Girls by Queen. I mean, like, there's lots of songs where men. Why are they so inspirational? Because maybe they friggin' liked it, and they can't admit it because they're not supposed to like it. They're supposed to like only thin hot girls, but boy, getting that soft pudding sometimes turns them on. You just never know.
You know, listen, like I've been thinner at other points in my life, but I had to explain this to the gripers. I'm like, I've literally it's never been a problem. It's never been a problem. It doesn't matter. It's never been a problem. Like, men like all sorts of things, and sometimes men like things that you might not expect them to like. I'm just saying.
Oh yeah. Well, honestly, most of the guys that I know do not like really super skinny girls because they're worried they're going to hurt them. And
really?
Yeah, they're like, I'm afraid I'm gonna hurt her. Now there, of course, again, it takes all kinds. There's somebody for everybody. Everybody has different tastes. I personally like my men with a little belly. I think a little paunch is cute. I like
totally
it.
agree. And again, like I've dated all sorts of men too. I prefer them to have a belly though.
Just a little one to make it look like they're not that anal about their routine and their workout, and like they're gonna be super jazzed about it. And I just like, show me that you enjoy your life enough to like just have that healthy little belly. I just,
you know, there was a meme that went around Twitter not too long ago, where it was a guy who he like in his before picture he looked like a normal guy, had a little bit of a belly, he looked like very rugged and like, you know, and then in his after picture he had done a lot of working out and he got a 6-pack, and you know, he was really toned, and I'm not saying it looked bad or anything, but it was interesting because there was a poll that was put up and all the women wanted the before picture.
Wow.
And then the men actually got pissed off at the women because the men didn't understand why the women wanted the before picture, and the men were all like, no, the after picture is obviously better. And I thought it was just like an interesting illustration of the fact that, listen, I like a 6-pack on a guy, I guess, I mean, it's fine. I'm not saying it's like, it's not like a turnoff or anything, but like, it's for other men. It's not actually for women. It's for them, and it's for other men. And so, you know, women like something different most of the time.
I love a big beefy man with gorgeous muscles and a 6-pack. I'd climb one like a tree in a heartbeat, but it's sometimes it's like something you just don't trust when you're with someone so pretty. You just kind of, you're like, I have trust issues around that, but I actually would rather be with a man who looks like he can take me, not break me.
Well, you know what I always found with that? It was like, because I've always been kind of like, no matter like how much I weigh or anything, like always been kind of like the nerdy girl, the artistic girl, the girl that like the 90s romance movies about this are incredibly real in terms of like, you have the nerdy arty, and like I think you might have had maybe some experience with this as well. You have the nerdy arty musical girl, and the boys are not supposed to like her, and the other boys will give him shit for liking her, but they secretly do, sort of thing. So I mean, I've dated men of all types, and what I always found with like the traditionally like really pretty ones, it was like, if there was a falling out in the relationship, they would get so mean, or God forbid I broke up with them. Oh my God, because they were like, you know, they didn't want to be embarrassed by their friends because like the you know, the ugly girl broke up with me or whatever. It was always so fucking annoying.
Yeah. Oh yeah. If you turn a guy down, it's all of a sudden they're absolute asshats. That just shows me that they didn't have the character to take me out in the first place. You know, so I'm glad I made the call. At least I could read you for the asshole you were. But and then they turn around and try and embarrass you back, which I've had happen a couple times very publicly at a bar that I used to play at when I was in my band. And it was by a fellow musician. I was mortified. He wanted to take me out, and I was like, I just really enjoy having our friendship and playing music together. And he was like, didn't speak to me again, had his little henchman push me away physically from him. And I'm like, what the hell? Is your ego that fragile, you piece of shit? Yeah. Men are weird. I mean, that they're not everybody's like that. We're not dissing on everyone, but just certain of them.
Men can have their moments is all that we're saying. Men can behave like women as well.
Well, I know that they're like the mean girls, and there are mean guys too.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why, you know what? That's why I'm glad I'm not like super hot, gorgeous woman. I'm really happy that I'm not that person. I love how I look now because I'm attracting the exact level of human that I want to attract.
Oh, I agree. I love how I look now. I love how I look now. I mean, like, I've gone through different phases with my looks over the years, but I'm really glad I'm out of the masculine phase I was in apparently in my 30s without even realizing I was in a masculine phase, but I feel like this is better.
Yeah, I like the softness. You got the tough rock chick look. I think it's a good vibe for you.
I feel so 80s with my look, but I kind of like it. Even like the messy hair where I'm just like, or like whatever, or like whatever, like I'm getting really like dark with the eyeshadow lately, where I'm just basically like smearing it on with my fingers and stuff. I'm like, this is so fucking 80s and punk rock. I love it.
It's the 21st century. Anything goes. We don't really have a style or genre, as we were kind of talking about another time. But I like the good looking man with a set of brains in his head and a little tiny tummy. And yeah, like love it all day. Love it all day. I don't want someone who's too into themselves. That's why I don't trust super hot people.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Real. All right. Well, now that we've talked about sex and all sorts of things that we probably shouldn't be on the internet, hang on. Asexual privilege, y'all are in the dating world are egotistical maniacs. Well, listen, man, can I just say though, I am so glad I don't have to date. I am so glad.
God,
listen,
today.
Being friends with boys on the internet is apparently difficult enough. Can you imagine dating? Like, I don't even know.
I have a friend of mine who just is getting a divorce, and she threw herself right into the apps, the dating apps.
Oh God!
And so we've been following. Yeah, we've been following her journey, and I'm like, you know, as sometimes you have those moments when you're like, maybe I should just be single now because I can't stand the smell of you one more second. We all have those days, but get over it. Keep your marriage together. Trust me, it's easier to be with someone who loves you heart and soul, who's going to put up with your fucking smell sometimes, than go out there and face all the shit that's out there. It is bad. It is bad out there.
Victor and I have actually had this exact conversation where it's like no matter what happens, no matter how big the fight is, no matter what, we cannot get divorced. I am not fucking dating ever again we cannot get divorced. I don't care what we need to work it out. We can go to therapy. We can hate each other for that. It's fine. I don't care, but we cannot get divorced.
Yeah. I'll just calm down. Like if I can't stand the sight of you, just let me cool off. Yeah. I'll be fine. And so will you. Everyone will be fine. And we've done that. Like we've had fights so bad, and then we're like, we just need a day. And we come back, we're like, all right, I love you. I'm sorry I yelled. I love you too. I'm sorry I yelled. And it's just done.
Yeah. Because no one actually wants to get divorced.
No.
No matter how much the other person has annoyed them. Because you will get over the temporary annoyance. Then you'll remember that it's either fix the fucking problem and just move on with life and let it go, or dating apps. That's it. Those are your choices. Fix the problem or dating apps.
Or adult stores where you just find things where you can be your own best friend.
Yes. Well, I mean, yeah. All right. Well, I think that's enough marriage and sex advice for tonight, Jennifer. Do you want to talk about the Illuminati and the Bilderberg Group?
So I came up with a theme. I thought, let's get into conspiracy stuff because we haven't quite delved too much into it. So the Illuminati is a great place to cut our teeth. I've got a little 30-minute video on that-ish, so 30-ish minutes. And then the Bilderberg Group is kind of how I entered this. This is how I started. This was my door to the rabbit hole was actually I've heard of the Illuminati, but I didn't really care. But it wasn't until, and I guess it was about 17 or 18 years ago, I heard Alex Jones on Coast to Coast. And I was just absolutely enwrapped in the interview, listening to him talk and just kind of going, could that be true? And of course we didn't have we had great internet, but there wasn't as much on it yet. I mean, it was getting there. It was starting to build and grow, but I was just, oh my God, I need to start looking into this. And I started finding everything I could to learn about it because it made sense to me. Because I kept seeing things. There's both sides of the parties, both Republicans and Democrats, and they look like there's some kind of agreement that's going on because it looks like a game of ping pong. you never have a run where there's just a Democratic president for 20 years in office, or a Republican in 20. They always back and forth, and I'm like, is that because of us, or is that their agreement? You just if you're a critical thinker, you're going to go, if this, then what, and you're going to keep asking questions. And I got so into it, and then I just couldn't stop, and it got me. That was sort of my red pill, or I guess you would call it, was when I started getting into actually researching 9/11 a little bit. But this was so fascinating to me. And then next week, we're going to kind of finish it off with a big summary of all the conspiracy theories. And I feel like this is a good way to segue into all that stuff. So who these groups are. The Illuminati bloodlines are things I started looking into that as well. Some of the going theory is, well, there are two. If you want to put the hat on, if you put your tinfoil hat on, the going theory is that the Illuminati are the direct descendants of the reptilian Dracos and human.
Oh, okay.
And so what they developed their super secret organization because they are keeping their bloodlines clean. That's why it's called the bloodlines of the Illuminati. There are 13 families that have run the world for probably 1,000 years. And they always intermarry. They're always supporting each other. And this is why we can trace every single American president, except for Donald Trump and Teddy Roosevelt, to one king in France, who is actually of British descent.
That's crazy, actually.
Yeah, they all marry each other, and they keep it. They have been in control of the world, and then especially the banking system. All of them are banking families. Well, most of them. At least in America, there's like the Rockefellers, the Rothschilds, the Bush family. They're all banking families and oil and things like that. So Chase, JP Morgan, he is another one. So it's all these guys that are controlling everything. So all the shit we're seeing right now is all an illusion. They have had a depopulation agenda going for a while, and now it's finally starting to work. We've actually reached critical crash point for our being able to replace our population. Generation Z will not be able to replace the millennial numbers. And so it's just really interesting. Like all their little plans, it's just been happening incrementally. And I'll hear Alex Jones say something. I'm like, that's ridiculous. A month later or a year later, it happens. And I think we've been seeing that since COVID. We're all like, no, that's nuts. Oh my God, he's right. He's right again. It's like, it's just ding, 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 because he studies this kind of stuff. And since we are here for woo and fun, different points of view, I thought this would be really fun for us to watch, and especially since you're kind of into the seedy underbelly of in the communist side. So
cool. Well, I'm looking forward to it. I know a little bit about the Illuminati. I know a little bit about the Bilderberg Group, mostly from that Alex Jones documentary that we watched that one time. Yeah. But I don't know a ton about it, so I'm looking forward to doing a deep dive.
This is going to be fun.
All right. Right on. Let's get this party started.
Host Ben Carter, and in today's episode, we're peeling back the layers of one of the most controversial theories in modern history, the alleged existence of the 13 Illuminati bloodlines. Are these powerful families silently controlling global events from behind closed doors? From political dynasties to secret rituals, this theory claims a hidden elite has shaped the world for generations. Today, we follow that trail into the shadows. To understand how the theory of the 13 Illuminati bloodlines took root, we must go back centuries into a world shaped by monarchies, secret societies, and emerging empires. The seeds of this theory...
I really feel like there needs to be some background music to this or something.
Yeah, something kind of spooky.
I need something like... Ooh.
Yeah, I agree. It's a little stark.
...stretch as far back as ancient Babylon and Egypt, where priesthoods and royal families claimed divine authority over their people. These early civilizations created a framework for hereditary power that would echo through millennia, later morphing into something far more intricate and hidden. By the Middle Ages, European aristocracies had established rigid bloodlines that kept wealth and influence sealed within noble families. Power was not earned, it was inherited. Banking houses like the Medicis and Fuggers emerged, influencing monarchs and shaping wars from behind the curtain. Their ability to move gold, fund empires, and manipulate economies set the stage for what conspiracy theorists later interpreted as the origin of a ruling elite that operated above the law, untethered from national loyalties. Then came the Enlightenment and the rise of secret societies. In 1776, a Bavarian professor named Adam Weishaupt founded the Order of the Illuminati. Though short-lived and officially disbanded within a decade, the Illuminati's mission, to overthrow established power structures and replace them with rational governance, left behind a phantom legacy. Conspiracies quickly grew that the group had simply gone underground.
Hang on. Go ahead.
I can't remember if he says this later. I don't think he actually defines why they call themselves the Illuminati. It's because it means the illuminated ones. And so they are the ones with all the knowledge. They have complete, they're in the light. They have complete knowledge of everything. That's why they call themselves that.
Cool.
Infiltrating Freemasonry and other secret societies. The idea that a covert network had embedded itself in the global establishment began to circulate. By the 19th century, industrialization added new dimensions to elite power. Wealth was no longer solely tied to nobility but to capital. Families like the Rothschilds in banking and the Rockefellers in oil amassed unprecedented fortunes. Their influence over governments, wars, and public policy blurred the lines between private interest and public governance. The merging of wealth, influence, and discretion began to resemble what theorists interpreted as a silent takeover of the world's institutions. These patterns of inherited power and secret influence found their way into books, pamphlets, and fringe publications. But it wasn't until the late 20th century that the theory of the 13 bloodlines solidified into its modern form. One of the key figures in shaping this narrative was author Fritz Springmeier, whose 1995 book Bloodlines of the Illuminati catalogued 13 families allegedly connected through blood, marriage, and shared purpose. According to his claims, these families included the Astors, Bundys, DuPonts, Rockefellers, Rothschilds, and others, all supposedly orchestrating world events to serve a long-term agenda. Springmeier's work didn't arise in a vacuum. The Cold War had fueled distrust in governments. Scandals like Watergate and the Iran-Contra affair shattered public faith in institutions. And as the internet emerged, it gave voice to those once confined to the margins. Suddenly, complex theories could be shared, cross-referenced, and expanded with global collaboration. The idea of a covert elite, descended from ancient lineages and pulling the strings of power, fit perfectly into a growing culture of suspicion. It's in this historical, political, and cultural soup that the 13 bloodlines theory took root, not as a relic of the past, but as a living narrative. A mythology built on patterns of inherited power, secrecy, and the unshakable belief that behind every public figure stands a shadowy force guiding their hand. At the core of the 13 Illuminati bloodlines theory are names that echo through the corridors of history and power. These families are said to have shaped economies, engineered wars, and placed their members in influential positions across politics, finance.
I like how they didn't even bother to fix all the AI misspellings. It's like so fucking lazy. Like the information might be good, but it's just like the graphics.
And culture. While mainstream historians view them as successful dynasties, conspiracy theorists interpret their legacies as threads in a tightly woven web of global control. The Rothschild family often headlines this list. Originating in 18th century Frankfurt under Meyer Amschel Rothschild, the family expanded rapidly by placing his 5 sons in major European cities, London, Paris, Vienna, Naples, and Frankfurt, creating a cross-border banking empire. Their ability to fund both sides of major conflicts, including the Napoleonic Wars, fueled suspicions of manipulative intent. Critics pointed to their immense control over central banks and government debt, suggesting a hidden agenda far beyond profit. To believers in the bloodlines theory, the Rothschilds represent the archetype, wealthy, untouchable, and invisible in influence. The Rockefellers hold similar symbolic weight. Beginning with John D. Rockefeller's oil empire in the late 19th century, the family diversified into banking, healthcare, and philanthropy. Institutions like the Council on Foreign Relations and the Trilateral Commission, often linked to Rockefeller funding, became targets of suspicion. Theorists argue these organizations operate as fronts, pushing globalist policies aligned with Illuminati goals. The Rockefeller Foundation's deep ties to education, medicine, and international development are viewed not as benevolence, but as strategic control over vital systems. The DuPont family, known for its chemical empire, is another key name. Emerging from the gunpowder trade during the American Revolution, the DuPonts grew into one of the largest industrial dynasties in the US. Their involvement in military manufacturing and early ties to government agencies fueled speculation about their role in shaping war and policy from behind closed doors. Other families listed by Springmeier include the Astors, once a dominant force in American real estate and fur trade, the Bundys, with multiple members serving high-ranking positions in US intelligence and education, and the Kennedy family, whose tragic losses and political rise are viewed by some as either resistance to or participation in the alleged agenda. Some researchers even connect occult practices and secret rituals to these families, alleging involvement in mystery schools, bloodline preservation through intermarriage, and coded symbolism in public ceremonies. In addition to the named families, there are those shrouded in greater ambiguity. The Collins family, for example, is rarely mentioned in mainstream histories, yet conspiracy literature claims they are deeply tied to satanic networks and ritualistic traditions. The Lee family, linked to Chinese political elites, and the Van Dynes, allegedly tied to early European occult societies, are cited as part of this transnational elite network. These individuals are often not public figures themselves. Instead, the theory suggests they fund and position others, politicians, celebrities, CEOs, who act as agents or puppets. The bloodlines in this framework are not merely rich families, but dynastic institutions operating on a long timeline, with goals of centralizing control and eliminating dissent. Each name adds to the mosaic, a collection of legacy, secrecy, and influence spanning continents and centuries. Whether through intermarriage, corporate mergers, or strategic philanthropy, these families are said to have passed down more than just wealth. They've preserved a blueprint for global dominance, patiently, methodically, and invisibly. The claims supporting the existence of the 13 Illuminati bloodlines are rooted in a combination of genealogical records, secret society affiliations, and patterns of influence that, to proponents, cannot be dismissed as coincidence. Central to this theory is the idea of continuity, that these families maintain their power not only through wealth and status, but through deliberate interbreeding, occult knowledge, and generational planning.
Interbreeding.
While the evidence is often circumstantial or speculative, it is assembled into a compelling narrative by those who believe in the theory's validity. One of the most frequently cited pieces of evidence is the interconnection of major dynasties through marriage. Genealogists have traced surprising familial links between US presidents and European royalty, suggesting a continuity of lineage that defies democratic ideals. For example, both George W. Bush and Barack Obama have been shown to share distant ancestry with British monarchs. These connections, though explainable through the vastness of genealogical records, are interpreted by theorists as markers of deliberate bloodline preservation. In addition, proponents often point to memberships in secretive or elite organizations. The Skull and Bones Society at Yale University, which has counted members like George H.W. Bush and John Kerry, is frequently mentioned. The Bohemian Grove Retreat in California, where political and business elites meet in private ceremonies, is viewed as further proof of hidden allegiances and ritualistic gatherings. The Bilderberg Group, known for annual meetings among global leaders behind closed doors, is another recurring symbol of supposed coordinated control. Another cornerstone of the theory is the use of symbolism. Advocates argue that esoteric symbols used in corporate logos, government seals, and media imagery are not accidental. The all-seeing eye, the pyramid, and the phoenix, often associated with Freemasonry and occult traditions, are said to signal hidden messages to those in the know. The Great Seal of the United States, particularly the reverse side featuring the unfinished pyramid and the Latin phrase Novus Ordo Seclorum, New Order of the Ages, is interpreted as evidence of an Illuminati agenda coded into national iconography. Springmeier and others also cite bloodline practices, particularly the belief in preserving so-called divine or serpent DNA. This claim, though deeply speculative, proposes that certain families trace their roots back to ancient Sumerian or even pre-Adamic bloodlines, descendants of Nephilim or otherworldly beings mentioned in apocryphal texts. By marrying within their own circles, these families allegedly maintain genetic traits and spiritual authority passed down from ancient times. Financial patterns are also central to the argument. The persistent influence of certain banking families, particularly in funding wars, shaping international treaties and controlling central banks, is viewed as economic manipulation on a massive scale. The Federal Reserve, the International Monetary Fund, and the World Bank are frequently accused of being instruments of this elite. The assertion is that these institutions were never designed to serve the public, but rather to maintain the dominance of those who created and continue to direct them. While none of these pieces individually constitute irrefutable proof, together they form a lattice of suspicion that supports the belief in a deliberate, hidden architecture of power. To believers, the consistency of names, symbols, and institutions across generations is not a random convergence. It is the evidence of a well-executed plan unfolding quietly.
I love this question. Did I ever see the old sci-fi TV series V?
Yes.
V was fucking great. And the remake wasn't like the worst remake that's ever happened. I like the homages that happened in the remake, but the original V series is so good.
Oh yeah. They had like the original series and they did like a secondary and then they did like a movie and it was
oh, that's right. They did a movie. I totally forgot about the movie.
Yeah. So good.
Yeah, highly recommended.
And gee, I wonder where they got the idea from.
I just don't know where they possibly could have gotten that idea. Don't ruin it for people who haven't seen it. Well, maybe they find out in like the first episode or something.
Oh, come on. If you haven't seen well, I guess they're not as prevalent anymore, but yeah.
Beneath the surface of world history. Dissecting the core claims behind the 13 Illuminati bloodlines reveals a complex mixture of historical fact, interpretation, and speculative reasoning. Proponents of the theory rely heavily on patterns, familial ties, symbolic connections, financial entanglements, but skeptics argue that pattern recognition is not evidence in itself. Verifying the claims requires separating what can be historically validated from what relies on inference, association, or suggestion. The genealogical links between political leaders and royal bloodlines, for example, are often technically accurate. Many US presidents, including Franklin D. Roosevelt, both Bush presidents, and Barack Obama, have been found to share distant ancestry with European nobility. But such links are statistically inevitable. With centuries of intermarriage among European settlers and colonial elites, most individuals of Western European descent can trace lineage to historical monarchs. Genealogy experts caution that these connections don't prove coordinated bloodline control, but rather reflect the mathematical reality of ancestral overlap in large populations.
Do you know what I heard?
Membership in exclusive organizations is...
What'd you hear?
I mean, not that we're not talking about anything totally crazy right now, but I heard that Barack Obama's mother, who is the one with the lineage to the king in France, was
the white one.
The white one was directed to have a child with a black man because they wanted to bring in a black president for the purpose of now we have a black president and he has to be a Democrat, so they wanted to control it. So they actually told her, go do this. And she was a radical. I don't know if this is, there's no proof. There's no way we could prove any of it, but I heard that it was kind of part of her directive, and that's one of the reasons she was then given cancer and killed off. And then shortly thereafter, as Barack Obama was being elected, his grandparents both died. So they got rid of everybody who knew about it.
That's crazy.
It's interesting, no?
Mm-hmm.
Another pillar of the theory. Groups like Skull and Bones, the Bilderberg Group, and the Bohemian Club are real, and their guest lists have included high-level figures across government and industry. Their private meetings and secrecy do little to alleviate suspicion. But no direct evidence has surfaced showing that these groups operate with a...
I know that the former queen of the Netherlands used to go to these meetings. They got her on video at these meetings.
Yeah, we're actually going to see that in the next video.
Mm-hmm.
Unified agenda, much less one tied to ancient bloodlines. Critics argue that elitism and secrecy alone do not equal conspiracy, though they often create the illusion of one. Symbolism, while undeniably present, is among the most debated aspects. The pyramid and the all-seeing eye on the US dollar The use of sun worship motifs in architecture and the prevalence of esoteric imagery in entertainment all serve as examples. These symbols do have historical ties to Freemasonry, alchemy, and ancient religions. But whether their modern use is intentional signaling or aesthetic borrowing is difficult to determine. Designers, artists, and architects may be influenced by tradition or symmetry without any conspiratorial intent. Yet believers point to the repetition across corporate logos, award shows, and government seals as too consistent to be coincidence. The claims of bloodline purity and Nephilim ancestry fall further into unverifiable territory. While there are ancient texts and mythologies that speak of hybrid beings, giants, or fallen angels, modern science has found no DNA evidence of such lineage in human populations. Assertions that elite families interbreed to preserve alien or serpent bloodlines rely on metaphysical belief systems, not genetic research. Still, in some occult traditions, such symbolism carries real significance, and theorists argue that these esoteric beliefs influence elite behavior regardless of their scientific basis. Financial influence, however, is harder to dismiss. Families like the Rothschilds and Rockefellers have undeniably played massive roles in global finance. Their networks span generations, and they have funded institutions that shaped modern geopolitics. What remains murky is intent. Is this influence evidence of a coordinated plan to control humanity, or simply the predictable result of inherited wealth and capitalist expansion? Publicly available financial records show vast holdings, but no paper trail tying these resources to a global Illuminati directive. What becomes clear in evaluating the evidence is that much of it walks a line between truth and speculation. Some claims are historically accurate, but not necessarily conspiratorial. Others are circumstantial, interpreted to fit a larger framework. Still others rely entirely on symbolic or metaphysical reasoning. The result is a theory held together not by a smoking gun, but by a mosaic of fragments, some verified, some assumed, and others imagined, woven into a story that for many feels too coherent to ignore. Critics of the 13 Illuminati bloodlines theory argue that its allure stems less from concrete proof and more from psychological pattern-seeking and mistrust of complex systems. Scholars, historians, and skeptics often view the theory as a product of confirmation bias, where evidence is interpreted through a predetermined lens and contradictory data is ignored or dismissed. Rather than unveiling a hidden truth, they suggest, the theory functions as a grand narrative to make sense of an unpredictable and unequal world. One of the primary challenges to the theory is its reliance on association rather than causation. Just because influential individuals are connected through family or elite institutions doesn't prove a coordinated plan. Modern political dynasties like the Bushes, Clintons, or Kennedys can be explained through access, wealth, and name recognition rather than secret rituals or bloodline agendas. Critics argue that the persistence of power within certain families is a socio-political reality, not evidence of Illuminati control. Genealogical connections are also deeply scrutinized. While it's true that public figures often share common ancestors, geneticists emphasize that with a sufficient number of generations, millions of people can claim distant kinship with royalty. The idea that these links confirm an orchestrated bloodline conspiracy ignores the mathematical inevitability of shared ancestry in human populations.
Who are you related to?
Theorists, however...
I'm related to William of Orange.
So are you related to the current like royal family in the Netherlands?
No.
It's the House of Orange?
No, not in the Netherlands. He was called William of Orange as a nickname. He was King William the something or other of England.
In England. Okay.
Yeah, he had like a metric ton of bastards. And so when women would get pregnant by the king, they would call the last name of their child King. So if you've got King in your name, it's very possible that you're related to the royal family through bastards. I would say, because my grandmother's maiden name was King.
Huh.
Mm-hmm. So we traced it back.
My brother's wife's maiden name was King.
Oh.
Uh-huh. That would explain why her family are such well, I'm not going to say something mean on the internet.
Oh no, you would never do that.
I would never do that.
Often present these findings as if they represent deliberate continuity, rather than coincidental overlap. Symbolism, too, is contested. While ancient symbols like the pyramid, the eye, or serpents appear in many places, scholars of semiotics argue that symbols are fluid and open to interpretation. A symbol's meaning can vary dramatically depending on context, culture, and intent. For example, the all-seeing eye can represent divine providence in one context and surveillance or control in another. Critics accuse conspiracy theorists of cherry-picking symbols to construct patterns that may not exist, often ignoring cultural or historical explanations. Furthermore, critics argue that the supposed secrecy of elite groups doesn't equate to nefarious plotting. Exclusive gatherings like the Bilderberg Group or Bohemian Grove do raise questions about transparency, but journalists, researchers, and former attendees have described them as policy forums, networking opportunities, or even theatrical retreats. Hardly evidence of a hidden world government. The secrecy, they claim, fuels speculation precisely because it limits access and invites projection.
Yeah.
Academic critics also point to the dangers of scapegoating. Conspiracy theories that focus on hidden cabals or wealthy families have historically been used to justify anti-Semitism, xenophobia, and political
no, not
repression.
that! No
The
anti-Semitism!
Rothschilds, in particular, have been the target of anti-Semitic conspiracies for over 2 centuries.
That's just too bad.
Critics warn that the 13 Bloodlines theory, by reviving these themes under a new banner, risks perpetuating old prejudices in modern forms. Moreover, skeptics emphasize the lack of falsifiability.
Wait a minute.
Because the
It's
alleged
so
Illuminati
close to being
operates in
Jewish.
secret.
It's so fucking close to being Jewish.
It is a little, isn't it? Just a bit, almost Star of David-y there. Like a 3-dimensional Star of David.
Yeah. It's
So-
trying real hard.
Tommy says I look like William of Orange. Look it up. So I looked it up and I'm like, oh crap.
Tommy's an asshole. Tommy is Scottish. You can ignore him.
I love Scots. I'm not gonna ignore that. No, the lower jaw, yeah, the nose, no. I'm Italian. I'm half Italian. I'm only like a quarter English mutt. I'm like Scottish and English and mutt from England and me. But I'm mostly Italian and Sicilian. That's where I get a lot of this, baby. So yeah, maybe just a little in the jaw. We all have a cleft chin. All of my aunts and my uncle, my dad, we all have this. Maybe that's the William of Orange thing. I don't know.
Any lack of evidence is often interpreted not as disproof, but as further proof of how deeply hidden the conspiracy is. This circular logic makes the theory immune to refutation and places it outside the realm of empirical inquiry. In this view, the 13 Bloodlines narrative is compelling, not because it's verified, but because it offers a sense of clarity and control in a chaotic world. By attributing global complexity to a secretive elite, it provides a simple explanation for inequality, war, and suffering. But to critics, it is that very simplicity, its refusal to accommodate randomness, nuance, or structural analysis that undermines its credibility. The result is a worldview that may comfort or thrill, but ultimately rests more on belief than on proof. Beyond the debate over evidence and skepticism, the theory of the 13 Illuminati bloodlines has profound implications for how people interpret authority, power, and history itself. It reflects a deeper unease with the structures that govern modern life, systems that seem increasingly unaccountable, opaque, and beyond the influence of ordinary citizens. Whether one believes in the literal existence of these bloodlines or not, the theory taps into a cultural undercurrent, a growing suspicion that democracy is a facade and that unseen forces control outcomes from behind the scenes. This perspective reshapes how people engage with politics and institutions. If global events are seen not as the result of conflicting interests or messy compromises, but as parts of a pre-planned script written by intergenerational elites, then civic engagement begins to feel meaningless. The idea that votes don't matter because elections are orchestrated, or that social movements are merely tools of elite manipulation, leads to a form of political nihilism. It undermines trust not just in governments, but in the very concept of agency.
Wait, so we're supposed to participate in elections that don't fucking matter so that people can trust the government? I just don't think this sounds like a good idea.
Trust us, we're from the government. We're here to help.
Yeah.
No, it's an illusion of control. Democracy is an illusion. I by and large, not every single time. I think Trump proved that by winning the 2 times he won. I think they gave up this time, but the first time they tried to I think spin it, because Hillary was told she was going to be the next president and they were going to make it so. And because every president is selected, they're all selected. And Trump was the random card that came in and they're like, no, crap. And they didn't think he'd win. So I don't think they tried hard enough. And so when Biden came in, that's when they went, okay, shit's real. We gotta not let him get elected again. So I think it's by and large an illusion. I think they give us wins occasionally in local elections just to make us feel like we're influencing things. But presidential wins, I have doubts.
The theory also reflects a historical memory of aristocracy and divine right, a time when birth alone determined one's place in the world. In an age that claims to be meritocratic, success is...
Hang on.
Uh-oh.
Unless you have something specific to debunk with, I don't like it when people come in and they're like, do you really trust that thing you're watching? Why do you trust that thing you're watching? You know it's just an AI video. Well, maybe. Do you have other information, or are you just trying to cause problems? Because we're just chilling out here, bro. You don't need to come in and ruin the fun. This is a YouTube show on a Tuesday night where we're watching videos. Like, relax.
Well, and also a lot of people who content create can't always narrate on themselves. Like, they're not great at narrating, or they just don't want to. So having an AI narrator is very helpful for them. But all this, I looked at probably 4 or 5 Illuminati videos while I was trying to figure out which one to pick. And I found this one that had like kind of the simplest, tightest bunch of information. It was the same as all of them. So they all said the same thing. I just felt this one was a little clearer and it was compact. I didn't want this to be a 10-hour show. So
supposedly earned, the persistence of elite families with disproportionate influence feels like a betrayal of those ideals. The bloodlines theory gives voice to that frustration, suggesting that despite appearances, little has changed. The kings may be gone, but the crowns were simply passed down in silence. Psychologically, the theory offers a kind of narrative symmetry. In a world filled with randomness, chaos, and suffering, believing in a master plan, even a sinister one, can be strangely comforting. It restores a sense of order, even if that order is malevolent. For those disillusioned by wars, economic collapses, or political corruption, the idea of hidden puppet masters can explain the otherwise inexplicable. Tragedies become engineered. Financial crises become planned resets. History becomes...
What was that?
Occam's razor. Isn't that Occam's razor?
The simplest explanation is probably the correct one.
Yeah, I think so. And then I'm going to answer Yasmin's question. Yasmin, I haven't got I have a YouTube channel, but it's not developed yet. I'm going to wait till after I move to devote time to it. But if anybody's interested, it is called The Hot Spot with JL. It's my author spot. It's my author.
Hot Spot with JLD.
I almost call it the wet spot. I'm like, no.
You don't call it the wet spot. That's a great name though, Jennifer. You should change it to that. You absolutely should.
I'm not. I thought that's a little too vulgar.
No, it's great. It's so much better than the hot spot. Honestly, the hot spot is exactly what I would expect your channel to be. But like the wet spot, I'd be like, what the fuck? Like just like the what the fuck factor. I'm like, yes, I want to know more about this. The wet spot with JLD.
I write classy, spicy romance. I just
they still have wet spots in your erotic fiction, Jennifer. There are always wet spots.
There are.
If the
There's
sex
more
is
than one.
good,
Usually,
there's always wet spot. Not if the sex sucks.
Get a towel. No. Yeah. So I'll be doing videos. The Hot Spot with JL is the name of it, and I will be. That's what it is. I am going to be developing it. I've already been shooting film, but I haven't been doing a lot of editing because we are packing to leave. So once I land, I will get it set up, and I'm going to be talking about how to write intimacy and all the juicy bits.
Jennifer is going to teach you how to write the best erotic fiction that you can write,
but also clean romance too, because some people struggle with just how to do a kiss and stuff. It's not really about sex, intimacy, and sex. And I will be interviewing fellow authors of smut, so it's going to be fun.
Was a chessboard where every move was anticipated generations ago. Culturally, the theory has found fertile ground in societies where inequality is stark and upward mobility feels increasingly out of reach. When billionaires buy influence, when corporate interests override public good, and when the same surnames appear generation after generation in politics and business, it becomes easier to imagine a hidden hand. The theory doesn't need hard proof. It draws strength from visible imbalances and the emotional truth that power is rarely held accountable. It also serves as a form of mythology. Much like ancient epics that explain the forces of nature through gods and monsters, the 13 bloodlines provide a narrative to explain the invisible forces of modern life. They become the villains in a global story, where the ordinary citizen is forever under watch, forever manipulated. The theory reduces complexity to characters, powerful families with secret rituals and ancient plans. It makes the vast, abstract machinery of global economics and geopolitics feel personal, knowable, and adversarial. Whether taken literally or symbolically, the theory's implications are profound. It reshapes how people view their place in the world, their relationship to power, and the nature of truth itself. In doing so, it creates a psychological architecture where skepticism becomes default, authority becomes suspect, and history becomes suspect to reinterpretation, not through analysis, but through suspicion. In this framework, belief itself becomes a form of resistance, a stand against what is perceived as a silent, all-encompassing control. The influence of the 13 Illuminati bloodlines theory extends far beyond fringe forums or late-night radio. It has steadily infiltrated mainstream discourse, shaping the way people interpret news, politics, and celebrity culture. Over the last 2 decades, this theory has become part of the cultural fabric, often referenced, sometimes subtly, sometimes overtly, in films, music, television, and online communities. Its spread has been accelerated by social media platforms, where complex narratives can be distilled into viral images, cryptic posts, or 30-second videos claiming to reveal the truth they don't want you to know. Celebrities in particular have become recurring characters in the theory's narrative. Prominent artists and performers, especially in the music industry, are frequently accused of being pawns or initiates of the elite. References to pyramids, single-eye gestures, and occult themes in music videos or award shows are interpreted as signs of allegiance to the Illuminati. Artists like Beyoncé, Jay-Z, Rihanna, and Kanye West have all been targeted by such claims, not because of concrete evidence, but because their visibility, success, and symbolism fit the narrative structure. In this context, fame itself becomes suspicious, a potential indicator of complicity. Media coverage is similarly scrutinized. News anchors...
I am absolutely 1,000% convinced that people who become famous are selected to become famous, and there are many people that are far better that are not selected because they won't go along with the talking points. Like, people who are selected to be famous, they're dumb, and they're willing to do whatever they need to do to maintain their status.
I completely agree. I believe, from what I understand, that fame, if someone wants to join the club, they are offered, and if they accept, all of a sudden it's like you never heard of them before, and they're like, boom, platinum albums, or whatever, huge movies, yada yada yada. Then there's a few that were like they were offered and they turned it down, and so they actually struggle for real and try to get into it. But yeah, if you get selected, I think I heard a list of names. I mean, you're talking like Britney Spears, Beyonce, Lady Gaga, like people like that it's like, oh no, because you can tell because they do this a lot in their videos.
Yeah,
that's if they are courting someone.
Lady Gaga came out of nowhere. Do you remember that? I was like, There was like, who the fuck is Lady Gaga? And she was like everywhere.
Yeah, they will blast you into superstardom. But they'll do like, if there's, I saw this one video on the different hand symbols that they use. If you want to be considered, it's like it's like a symbol like this that you do in a photo. If you're ever shot somewhere in a magazine, shoots you, and you're like, so here's like that. And then they'll contact you and you go, yeah, I'd like to. So if you're an initiate, then you start doing this kind of shit. And then you see a lot of stars doing that because they're doing the all-seeing eye thing. And then once you're in the club, you just kind of keep, doing the things that, yeah, I'm still with you. I'm still loyal every now and then in a live performance or in a video. And that's how but that's if you accept it. But yeah, not everybody does. So, and it's totally unfair. because there was back in the day you could just take your album. Like this is how Elvis got famous, and a lot of people, they take their little 45 down to the local radio station and ding ding ding, there it was.
I've even thought about this with my stuff when I got like well known in 2020, because it was so weird because, you know, first off, I think that the reason that I was kind of like elevated on the right was not that that I had a story that like resonated with people. I think that they thought that they could control me very easily, because it was made very, I've told the story a million times, it was made very clear to me what I was supposed to say and like what I wasn't supposed to say. And then as soon as I went off script, it was like, all right, like go away now. And and it was so weird because like my YouTube channel grew so quickly. Like there was a time in 2020 where, I mean, for several months straight, I was getting 1,000 new subscribers a day. And
Whoa!
it was just like, it was like massively growing. And there wasn't really any reason for that. My content back then sucked. I was still figuring it out. I even knew it sucked when I was doing it, because I was like, I have this thing, it's growing. I don't really know why it's growing, but it's growing, and I'm just gonna roll with it. I'm gonna figure it out. I'm gonna talk through it and like whatever. And that's kind of how I figured out what I wanted to focus on. Yeah. But there was a moment, and I know the specific day that it happened. It was August 26th of 2020, where something turned off, because it was like I was going like steadily for months and months and months, and then all of a sudden it went down to almost nothing.
Whoa.
And I was like, what the fuck is that about? And at the time I thought like, okay, YouTube has updated the algorithm or something happened. Like I didn't really know what it was. But now looking back, having like several more years of experience after that, it was, I honestly I was like, were they pumping up the numbers on my channel the whole time and I just didn't know about it? Because it's not like
sending you the good bots.
People have accused me of like buying subscribers on the channel, and that's never happened. I've never done that.
I can't imagine you would.
Anyone else can do that though. Like in theory, like you can actually buy subscribers for whatever YouTube channel you want. And so I was like, is this what was going on? Were they like purposefully pushing stuff to me they wanted me to break through with this specific message for some reason? I don't know what the fuck it was, but I know that a wall came down and it stopped all on the same day.
Yeah. Wow.
So it was weird.
Well, and if you've ever seen like a star that has exploded out of nowhere, a musician, or usually it's in music, or an actor, and then all of a sudden they just disappear. You don't hear from them for years.
Yeah.
Or they're down here. They're like they still are producing music, but you don't really know about it unless you look for it. That's someone who left. So you may have gotten kicked out, which is total bullshit. But this someone who was like, you know, I thought I wanted this, but now I'm a little uncomfortable, probably because they were invited to a pizza party at Epstein Island and shit like that, you know, because that is exactly what happens at that level. And so they may have gone no, and then so you have someone who's like really huge all the time, and then they're just like gone.
Yep.
And yeah, they're dumped.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's, you understand. Yeah. How much time do we have on this? Okay, I'm gonna go grab some ice. I'll be right back. I'm running out of my ice.
Oh.
Television hosts and political commentators are often viewed as mouthpieces for the elite, actors delivering a curated version of reality. Major networks are believed to be owned or influenced by bloodline families or their proxies, shaping public opinion while hiding inconvenient truths. Even the repetition of certain phrases, the framing of stories, or the timing of global events is interpreted through this lens. For believers, nothing is accidental. Everything is part of the plan. Online communities have amplified this mindset. On platforms like YouTube, Reddit, and TikTok, users dissect interviews, analyze footage, and share proof in the form of slowed-down video clips, symbolic breakdowns, or genealogy charts. Algorithms designed to feed content based on user interest often funnel curious viewers deeper into a self-reinforcing echo chamber. This digital environment allows the theory to evolve, mutate,
Benjamin
and adapt in
Elliott.
real time.
I was wondering about you the other day. I hope you're okay. Tuning in from my sickbed, we'll have to rewatch when healthy. Oh, I'm sorry to hear that. Feel free to embarrass a Bilderberg person by calling it Build-A-Bear. I made the joke years ago. Brain loopy tonight. Well, I hope you're doing well, Benjamin Elliott. Good to see you.
Drawing in new audiences and reinforcing old suspicions. The entertainment industry has also played a paradoxical role. Films and shows that reference secret societies, bloodlines, or global conspiracies often blur the line between fiction and speculation. Franchises like The Da Vinci Code, Eyes Wide Shut, and National Treasure have woven elements of these theories into their plots, sometimes using historical references that mirror claims made by theorists. While intended as fiction, these portrayals often reinforce belief by suggesting that Hollywood itself is leaking hidden truths under the guise of storytelling. At the same time, parody and satire complicate the landscape. Some references to Illuminati symbolism are made in jest or as commentary on the theory's popularity, yet they are often interpreted by true believers as revelation through concealment, the idea that truth is disclosed to the public in ways that are deliberately indirect, allowing elites to claim plausible deniability. In this framework, even ridicule is viewed as a tactic of control. The result is a narrative so embedded in modern culture that it no longer relies solely on books or lectures. It lives in hashtags, memes, and music videos. It colors the way people interpret everything, from global summits to Super Bowl halftime shows. And because it adapts so easily to new content and personalities, it remains perennially relevant. Each new public figure, crisis, or trend becomes a potential puzzle piece in a story that, true or not, continues to shape how millions view the world around them. In the more speculative reaches of the 13 Illuminati bloodlines theory, the narrative stretches beyond politics, finance, and culture into the realms of the arcane, the extraterrestrial, and the metaphysical. These fringe interpretations add additional layers of intrigue, and for some terror, to the idea of a ruling elite. Here, the bloodlines are not just powerful families manipulating human affairs, they are presented as something entirely otherworldly, guardians of ancient knowledge, hybrids of non-human origin, or even avatars of interdimensional entities. One of the most provocative extensions of the theory is the assertion that the bloodlines are descended from non-human ancestors. Proponents like David Icke claim that certain elite families are not merely part of a political or financial network, but are actually part of a reptilian lineage. According to this view, these beings originated from the Alpha Draconis star system and came to Earth in ancient times, interbreeding with humans to create hybrid bloodlines. These hybrids, Icke contends, are capable of shifting between human and reptilian form, and their control over world affairs is part of a long-term plan to dominate humanity. While this concept is often dismissed as science fiction or delusion, it has gained a surprising following. Icke's lectures, books, and interviews have reached millions worldwide, and many within alternative communities see his claims not as literal truths, but as metaphorical representations of inhumanity, coldness, and control. Even among those who reject the idea of shape-shifting lizards, the metaphor resonates. A class of rulers so removed from the human experience that they might as well be from another world. Another fringe interpretation centers around ancient blood rites and occult practices. Some believe that the families maintain power through ritualistic sacrifice, spiritual pacts, and dark ceremonial traditions passed down through generations. Theories often point to supposed Masonic temples, secret chambers, or remote castles where these acts are said to take place. Alleged eyewitness accounts, leaked documents, and cryptic symbolism are all cited as partial proof of these secret rituals. To believers, the power of the bloodlines isn't just political, it's alchemical, involving hidden spiritual dominion. The concept of the Black Sun also emerges in some versions of the theory, a metaphysical source of power worshipped in esoteric Nazi occultism, later adopted by fringe theorists as a symbol of the hidden force guiding the elite. This dark energy, they claim, is harnessed through bloodline rituals and ancient knowledge. It's not just control over resources or governments, it's control over spiritual evolution, over the very soul of humanity. Another angle links the bloodlines to ancient civilizations like Atlantis or Lemuria, where advanced knowledge and technology were allegedly possessed by an elite priesthood. The fall of these civilizations, according to this theory, didn't mark the end of their influence. Survivors fled underground or interbred with surface populations, preserving their wisdom and control through carefully maintained lineages. In this view, modern Illuminati families are the final inheritors of a pre-cataclysmic world order, keepers of secrets older than recorded history. These speculative elements, while far removed from verifiable fact, serve a purpose within the broader theory. They deepen the mythology, offering explanations for the apparent inescapability of elite dominance. They transform what might otherwise be a political or economic critique into a cosmic struggle between light and darkness, humanity and its hidden rulers. Whether interpreted as metaphor, fiction, or literal truth, these fringe ideas ensure that the theory evolves, not just as conspiracy, but as legend. The theory of the 13 Illuminati bloodlines endures not merely because of the names it invokes or the claims it makes, but because of the story it tells. A story of secrecy, control, and inheritance stretching across centuries and civilizations. It's a narrative that offers coherence in a chaotic world, casting global events as the products of hidden hands rather than random chance. Whether viewed through the lens of suspicion, symbolism, or ancient power structures, the theory presents a grand architecture of influence that feels at once familiar and unknowable. For some, it's a chilling portrait of the world as it truly is, a world ruled not by elected leaders or shifting political ideologies, but by a concealed aristocracy whose goals remain obscured. For others, it's a modern myth, reflecting our collective fears about inequality, deception, and the loss of personal agency. Still others see it as dangerous misinformation, a worldview that blurs truth and fiction, often at the expense of reason and responsibility. Yet the persistence of the theory...
You know what? I no longer trust any person who wants to like shit on someone else for considering a conspiracy theory or something that is outside of mainstream. I don't trust them. If they're really trying to poo-poo someone for it or call them crazy for it, any of these things, I'm like,
chill.
Why do you not want us talking about this? Like okay, say it's all fiction. Well, maybe it's just a fun thing to consider, and we're allowed to do that too. Are we just allowed to consider fun things?
Yeah, totally. I think some of them do it just because they're like consider themselves to be super intellectual and super dialed in and logical, and why would this happen? And that's so dumb. And then there are those who are like, you need to tell them that that's not true. Okay, boss. You like, there's those people.
Like, no, you really don't. Actually, you really don't.
He speaks to a deeper cultural wound. In times of economic collapse, social fragmentation, and technological upheaval, people search for explanations. They want to know why the system feels rigged, why injustice persists, why certain names and faces seem to reappear at every turn of history's wheel. The 13 Bloodlines theory offers answers, simplified, dramatic, and deeply symbolic, even if those answers exist in a realm beyond verification. It also forces difficult questions. Who really holds power in our world? How is influence maintained and transmitted? Are the structures of modern life as open and democratic as they appear? Even if one rejects the Bloodlines theory in its literal form, the questions it raises about transparency, elitism, and historical continuity remain uncomfortably relevant. Ultimately, the theory is less about the families themselves and more about what they represent. Inherited dominance, ritualized control. The idea that behind every visible authority lies an invisible one, more ancient, more permanent, more absolute. It's a framework that challenges not just institutions, but our very perception of freedom and truth. In a world increasingly defined by opaque algorithms, hidden algorithms, and digital manipulation, the hunger for clarity has never been stronger. Whether the 13 Illuminati bloodlines are historical reality or metaphorical construct, their story resonates because it reflects the unease that someone, might be pulling the strings from a place just out of reach. Thanks for listening. This has been Conspiracy Theories and Cover-Up.
All right. Good first start.
Yeah, so what do you think about the Illuminati?
I mean, I don't know if there was anything new in that video for me that I hadn't I heard before. I think it was all kind of like the standard stuff. I would like to do more of a deep dive into the reptilians at some point.
Ooh.
I know we talked about them a little bit, I think, when we did like David Icke that week, but I would like to learn more about them.
The Draco from the constellation Draco. Yeah, the warring race that basically won the Earth, essentially, in the great battle of the past, right after the Anunnaki left. I think is that how they started, if I'm remembering all my shit.
We'll have to go back and watch another AI video for that one.
Yes. Well, actually, you know what? I think the what was the video that I sent you for next week?
Conspiracy of everything.
That channel has all kinds of stuff on it, and they do all the AI things. So maybe and it has a real human narrator, so that's nice. But I think maybe they'll probably have something on the lizard people. We'll have to look.
We'll have to look into that.
Okay, so this video is super fun. It's got so many clips, and I was super entertained watching it. I hope you guys like it. Bilderberg, and they'll tell you about the origin of the group, who's in it. Well, not everybody, because the list has several hundred people in it, but there's some Alex Jones moments that make me super happy. I think it starts out with an Alex Jones moment, and I love it because he just makes me smile. Anyway, woohoo! Here we go.
Cool. Well, guys, mount the like button for me if you would be so kind. Jennifer and I do DISENRAGE on Tuesday nights at 9 p.m. So this is your first time joining us. We hope you come back. Big exploding. You can tell us it's made by a man already. This is definitely made by a man. Let's start off with a giant explosion and a guy with a gun.
In the real executive power structure, the president serves the military-industrial complex. It's self-owned by the international bankers. If there's a revolution, the population just throws out the prime minister or president. The elite stays in power because the public is never aware of who the real enemy is. In Evian, France in 1991, standing before the Bilderberg Group, the apex of the world government power structure, David Rockefeller defined the New World Order as a system of world government serving the international banking elite. For decades, the banker-owned media would attack anyone who dared to warn the public that a dictatorial world government was being constructed right under their nose, and that national sovereignty was being deliberately destroyed. And now, after years of denial, the media and the elite themselves are proudly announcing that not only is world government real, but it is the answer to the financial crisis that they carefully engineered. The Bilderberg Group consists of the heads of all of the managing roundtable groups that steer individual countries.
Israel.
Picture the elite power structure of the world as a giant pyramid, with only the elite of the elite at the top of the capstone.
Jennifer, are you waking up to the Jewish question? Secret.
Well, I'm not going to call it. I'm not going to call it that, but I am feeling like Israel is not our friends.
Did you hear what happened this week from Marjorie?
What?
Oh, maybe you heard from somewhere else. So this week there was a pedophile ring that was like, I guess, apprehended or something in Nevada, except and there were 12 people involved in it, except there were only 11 people that are going to face consequences. And do you know who the one person is that got shipped out of the country very, very, very quickly?
It's not Bibi, is it?
It's a head of some intelligence thing in Israel. It's a high-level government person from fucking Israel who got shipped right back to Israel. And Marjorie Taylor Greene has been having a hissy fit about this, and it's
good for her. Somebody needs to jump up
Marjorie
and down about
is fed up with Israel. I'll tell you what. She was tweeting about it the other day. I was like, yes, Marjorie. Okay. What were you gonna say?
I'm not. I will never ever fault anybody for their spirituality. I will never think less of someone because of what they believe in. I have no problem with Jewish people. I do have a problem with Israel. I do have a problem with the government. And that is my differentiation. But yeah, I mean, I grew up when they were like, on a video, when I was younger, the Israelis were like, we were afraid of them. They were hostile. They were violent. They had this huge, like this force of, we just saw men running and, with
it hasn't changed.
So the narrative, as I'm looking back, I'm like, I never sat down with myself to think about it. But now that I am, because I've seen some more other videos and things and read some articles, and I'm like, I need to sit with myself and think on this. So they went from like the Israelis, which were like super powerful army that everybody was afraid of because they were violent and unhinged, to the Jews. So they switched the narrative from the army into the victim.
Anti-Semitism is a weapon they use anytime someone criticizes them.
Yeah, it is. Well, just like they say racism, that's getting thrown around now. Anti-Semitism, blah, blah, blah. And, all the fascism, it's all getting thrown around now. And everybody's confused. Like, what does it even mean? But it's like, I like people. I don't like governments. So I don't like the Israeli government. I used to be a Bibi fan, and as I've learned more about him, I'm like, boy, wow, okay, that's no bueno. But yeah, they changed their narrative. It was a masterful marketing plan, I think, is what happened from the 80s to now. And then I noticed the Palestinian sympathy was starting to get pumped about 10 years ago or so. And so that confused me because I always thought Israel was our friend. And it's like, and they are. However, it feels like they're part of a new axis of power that is grounding in that area. Like all this stuff that we're watching now has something to do with how they're trying to move the power formulation around in the Middle East. And yeah, so I feel like I'm starting to feel a little more sorry for other countries than I did before. I don't want to get like super political or get myself in trouble or anything, but I definitely see the bait and switch that totally just happened, and now they're coming back like, would it help us because we're Jews? And it's like, no, it's not about you being Jewish. Stop holding your religion up as a front, you jerk, which is what they're doing.
Jennifer, I think this is a really great step and a positive advance, and we're gonna let you simmer on this for a little while, and then in about 3 months we're gonna have a conversation about the Holocaust. Okay?
Ooh, that would be an interesting disenraged. It might get liked on the internet.
Maybe we're not going to have that conversation on YouTube on my channel. Maybe we're not. I'm just saying that at some point, maybe we'll have it on the Discord one night, and we'll just do it before movie night. We'll call movie night the conversation, and we'll watch a Holocaust movie that's definitely real after it or something.
We'll watch because I know people have already been slowly crushing my love of Schindler's List.
Yeah, it's all fake. That's all.
Yeah,
fake.
I don't want to believe that. I'm really mad.
It is though. It's
they
all
had
fake.
the Schindler Jews at the end, and I was like, it's so beautiful.
No, it's fiction.
Well, okay, so we'll have to do like maybe a Christmas.
Maybe a Christmas. We'll do a Christmas Holocaust episode.
Christmas, Hanukkah, Holocaust movie night, and then you can just stop all the last bubbles that I have.
Holocaust Christmas episode. Mazel tov.
It's a boy. Yay.
Yeah, it's a great idea. Okay, it's a great. We're gonna remember this.
I was just doing the movie night list last night, trying to move movies over because usually by this time every year I've got the next year sort of planned out, so I have an idea what I'm doing. Because I like planning things out just takes the stress off of me, so I don't have to do it in the minute. And I was looking at this Christmas, and I'm like, this Christmas and next Christmas, and I'm like, what am I doing this year? I don't even know. And it's only 4 months away, not even. It's like 3.5 months away. So now we know.
Okay. So around Christmas, we will have a Christmas episode where we have a discussion about how gas chambers don't have wooden doors. That's gonna be great.
I don't.
It's gonna be great.
Oh my god.
Obviously, the Holocaust happened. I'm just joking, YouTube. Holocaust happened. 10 million people died. Hitler, worst person that ever lived. Okay, moving on.
That until the mid-1980s, the controlled corporate media denied its existence. Into the late 1990s, coverage only consisted of rare one-line mentions. With the rise of the alternative media, their stranglehold on information has begun to slip.
In the spring of 1954, Joseph Redinger, a Polish political advisor and founder of the European movement that would lead to the founding of the European Union, started the Bilderberg Group, an informal and off-the-record conference for political and business elites from European and Western nations. With the help of Prince Bernhard of the Netherlands, along with other powerful politicians and businessmen,
that is why the Queen from the Netherlands is involved, because the Prince from the Netherlands was involved. Okay, that makes sense.
Yep.
Organized the first annual Bilderberg meeting at the Hotel de Bilderberg in Oosterbeek, Netherlands. The Prince, a former executive for IG Farben and a former Nazi SS party member before the war, was also an influential executive in the oil industry, working for Royal Dutch Petroleum.
Nice fur.
Yeah.
As a member of the Dutch royal family and the father of the current matriarch and fellow Bilderberger Queen Beatrix, Bernhard was a very powerful and influential member of the European community.
Just so people know, Queen Beatrix is not queen anymore. She is now Princess Beatrix, and her son Wilhelm is king. And
Did she abdicate?
Yeah, well, she abdicated, yeah. And so Willem became king, and his wife is Maxima, who is the queen. And then
Maxima?
Well, she is from Argentina.
Oh.
Yes, she is and she's very Argentine. She has very loud clothes.
I will bet for Nordic taste, sure.
And Netherlands, man, Netherlands has some giant fuck off tiaras. Like, I mean, I'm talking giant tiaras.
I love a
like
good
the
tiara.
Big ones.
Oh my god! So now they're calling the queen the princess, not the queen mother.
Well, so they downgraded her title when she abdicated, and I don't agree with that. Because I like with Denmark. With Denmark, when the queen abdicated, she's still the queen. I mean, and then her son's the king now. But I thought it was dumb to downgrade her title to princess, but they did.
It doesn't make a lot of sense. It sounds like you're next in line, not after the line. That's why I like the phrase queen mother, because it gives you the I'm retired, but I'm still the queen. I'm the mother of the king.
I'm sure she was able to have a say in this, so I'm sure she's fine with it. But it's just it is a little weird. It's weird to me to see older people be called prince or princess. And I understand, like, Princess Anne, and I'm fucking this. You're seeing the royal nerd come out in me right now.
Here we
Princess
go.
Anne in the United Kingdom just turned 75.
Wow.
And it's just like it's so weird to think of like princess with someone who's 75, But it was funny because they wanted to throw her this big event, but Anne is like the stoic one where she's just like she just wants to get on with it. And so all she let them do was mint a coin in her honor, and then she released a photograph or something, but she was like, no parties, no nothing. And she went like on a vacation or something.
I'm so bored with parties. It's so boring.
I mean, I like Anne because like Anne is like the sensible one where it's like she doesn't do anything extravagant. She doesn't.
Is she
wear
someone's
these big jewels.
wife?
Well, she has a husband. No, she was the daughter of the queen. She was
okay. So
Queen
she
Elizabeth's
was.
only
Oh,
daughter.
right. She had 2 boys and a girl. I remember. Okay.
The Princess Royal. Well, three boys and a girl.
3 boys.
Charles, Andrew, and Edward.
Okay.
She was the second.
Edward has a piercing named after him.
Well, I don't think it was that one. I think it may have been.
Or was that a prince? What is that tattoo called? That tattoo.
No, I know it is called no, it's Prince Albert.
Prince Albert. That's what it was.
Yeah.
I know. I'm wrong. That's wrong. That sounds wrong.
That's
okay,
that's the.
If you know, you know.
That is Victoria's husband.
Definitely don't
right
look that
there.
up anywhere.
Don't Google that.
Don't do it.
Don't do it.
I knew a guy who had 12.
That's so crazy, though.
And I saw it too because it was at that pagan festival I used to go to.
Why?
And he would like walk because I camped in bear country, which is clothing optional, and he walked around with nothing but sandals on, and he was showing off he had more hardware on his junk than most Ferraris.
That's crazy. Listen, and I had a lot of piercings. I still have piercings in my, but like. I can't imagine. I
not down there. No,
bad idea.
The original stated goals of the Bilderberg Group were to bring together the leaders of business, finance, and politicians from Europe and Western nations in a forum that would allow for candid and frank discussions of international issues without the fear of being quoted or recorded. Thus, the meetings are held in secret and are by invitation only. For almost 60 years, the Bilderberg Group has been meeting behind closed doors in luxury hotels around the world to discuss in secret their plan for global control of world events and markets. Over the years, their members have included heads of state, politicians, business executives, media moguls, global financiers, military leaders, intelligence agencies, and many other powerful organizations and individuals whose reach extends to every corner of the world.
We want to make sure that we can get documentation of the attendees just to have confirmation of who is in attendance. Once you know, you can absolutely confirm who is in attendance. You can have a better feel for what are some of the things that are going to be discussed.
We can talk about the 99%, but it's really the 99.99999%, because the people that are in here, they're not 1 out of 100, they're not 1 out of 1,000, they're not 1 out of 10,000, 100,000, they're more like 1 out of 1,000,000 or 10 million, or beyond that, okay? That's right. It's the billionaire and trillionaire club, and you and I, we're not in it, we're not ever going to be in it, so we got to hold their feet to the fire. We've got to expose what's going on here. We've got to find out who the 2012 attendees are, and we've got to keep our eyes on the headlines for the next coming weeks, months, and even years to see what these associations have done geopolitically, because they'll be in the headlines. When you have someone like Davignon claiming, and not really claiming because he's on the inside, he would know better than you and I, that the Bilderberg Group was instrumental in creating the European Union and the Euro. I would say that's a pretty big deal. And whether that's evil or not, that's a geopolitical move. And that decision was made by this group.
Hey, that's the boss. Boss is leaving.
Etienne Davignon is the honorary chairman of the Bilderberg Group, as well as the head of its steering committee. The committee he heads selects and invites each year's attendees.
Billionaire financier David Rockefeller of Chase Manhattan Bank has been a steady donor to the Bilderberg meetings and has been a cornerstone of the group's development, attending nearly every conference since its inception in 1954. Rockefeller is an honorary lifetime chairman of the Bilderberg Group and has been involved in the development of many other powerful globalist think tanks, such as the Trilateral Commission and the Council on Foreign Relations. In 1965, David Rockefeller gave a speech to the International Industrial Conference in San Francisco, where he said, "We have entered upon an era in which interdisciplinary cooperation on a worldwide basis must be the cornerstone of accomplishment. Each of us has the duty to fashion his own contribution to fit the grand design of a global community. For many of us, the marketplace of tomorrow will be no less than this whole planet of Earth. What we do will manifest itself in ways that we cannot foretell, and it will have an unforeseen impact upon individual lives and whole societies. What we are is God's gift to man. What we become is man's gift to God."
Memorandum 200 with the National Archives. You want to depopulate. It's on the record, Henry Kissinger.
A lot of these globalists, a lot of these Bilderbergers are on the record saying that they want global depopulation, and they're proud of it.
War criminal Henry Kissinger has stepped foot in the Westfield Marriott Hotel in Chantilly, Virginia. We have him on video entering the hotel, and we would like for you gentlemen to go inside the hotel and arrest Kissinger for his war crimes.
Former Secretary of State Henry Kissinger has been deeply involved in the Bilderberg Group, attending dozens of their meetings over the years and acting on the Bilderberg Steering Committee. Kissinger faces allegations of war crimes for his involvement in the secret bombing campaign that took place in Cambodia during the Vietnam War in the 1970s. It is alleged that Kissinger willfully engaged in the murder of tens of thousands of civilians in various areas of Cambodia, which led to the destabilization of the country into a civil war, resulting in the rise of the infamous Khmer Rouge. Kissinger is also wanted in several countries for his involvement in supporting the Pinochet regime and the CIA-backed coup that took place in Chile on September 11, 1973. Pinochet, who is now facing a war crimes tribunal, murdered the democratically elected President Salvador Allende and started a military junta, which resulted in the kidnapping, forced displacement, and torture of thousands of men, women, and children in Chile.
Communists.
Henry Kissinger actively supported these actions that were taking place at that time, which constituted crimes against humanity.
Well, I don't know about that.
Kissinger was also involved in a controversial study in 1974 called National Security Study Memorandum 200, in which the basic thesis called for an active campaign for the depopulation of several less developed countries to stem the risk for civil unrest.
Are you still giving out orders like Memorandum 200, where you said depopulation should be hell? Sir, just a question. I'm not going to go to hell because Memorandum 200, sir. Memorandum 200. Just asked him a question about Memorandum 200 that he wrote in April 24, 1974. It's an honest question. Okay. Kissinger, Memorandum 200. Depopulation.
We're on topic now. We came here. We give you the access. If you want to burn bridges, you can do that.
I don't want to burn any bridges. I wasn't disrespectful. I wasn't accusatory. It was a serious question.
We're on topic.
Okay, I understand that. So, what about the depopulation? I mean,
Is that
Memorandum
Luke?
200.
Yeah, it is Luke,
Why are you afraid to talk about your depopulation plan?
Why don't you get lost?
Why should I get lost? It's serious.
Sick person.
Sick person.
Sick person.
How am I sick? You're the one committing.
What does it do when you get 120 of the most powerful people in the world getting together to have meetings with government officials? I mean, that's amazing.
Well, it is. This is what I mean, is that they're planning the corporate agenda. They're not planning the democratic human journey agenda, in my opinion. Mussolini had a definition, is when the interests of the corporation take completely over from all other interests, and that's fascism.
He said it should probably be called corporatism.
Well, call it corporatism, call it fascism, call it neo-lib, neo-con. There's a whole variety of political words, depending on which side of the stripe you come from, to start with, which describes the thing. But what they are describing is the complete end of democracy, the end of what matters to people, the end of what happens to the human journey. And for that reason, I think this is revolting.
In the last decade, the list of attendees has been leaked to reporters by moles on the inside. Veteran newspaper reporter Jim Tucker has been covering the Bilderberg meetings for over 30 years and has physically attended more than 20. We traveled back to our hotel to see if Jim Tucker received the 2006 list.
First heard about Bilderberg in 1975, and I said, I don't believe it. That's not possible. Who in hell's Bilderberg? I spent 20 happy years with metropolitan newspapers. All the wires are clicking at my ear. That could not happen without me knowing about it. And the thing that first impressed me most was columns in 1957 by the late, great Westbrook Pegler, widely syndicated columnist. He wrote 2 lengthy columns about how approximately 100 leaders of international finance, heads of state, high public officials were meeting behind armed guards and closed doors on Jekyll Island, sealed off. What are these powerful internationalists doing? And why is it so secret? Why do they have armed guards outside? Why is it sealed off? The newspapers totally ignore it. Not a word. Total blackout in the United States. Since then, I've never stopped pursuing Bilderberg or the whole international gangster organization led by Rockefellers and Rothschilds as they manipulate the world for their own selfish interest. Bilderberg was founded by David Rockefeller and the Rothschilds in Britain and Europe. They're still the main powers. Baron Evelyn D. Rothschild, a male, attended for many years. Rothschild is still represented. You'll see them on the list of participants. Somebody representing Rothschild Group. They are the main powers behind Bilderberg. The Dutch Shell is part of the Queen's fortune. Of course, the Rockefellers have always had heavy oil interests. That was the original source of their old money, of the old man.
Why do you think they're not totally serious
doing this for the last 15 years
about green energy?
Well, yeah, exactly. They all own oil companies and gas companies.
Every one of them, banking and oil, all of them. And what's funny is, like, oil wasn't even a thing because the electric cars were coming into becoming popular. That was the answer to automobiles back in the Model A days, pre-Model A days. but they had this. They were starting to use oil for certain things, and they had this byproduct. They didn't know what to do with it, and then somebody figured out that it can fuel a combustion engine, and that's when oil and gasoline took off. They buried the electric car concept and went, phew, because they were making so much money off of it. So, and it's like, even though they're like, green agenda, lies.
Jennifer, I really like this mood lighting that you've got going on. I feel like it's very campfire. Like you have the flashlight like down here. I think it's like it's very like light, and I feel like you have like a glow.
Oh, thank you. It's my aura. It's very, very bright tonight. Now I'm painting my nails, so I need to be able to see what I'm doing.
Oh, okay.
Oh, I just killed a moth. Oh God, I'm sorry, baby. Are you okay? Oh no, I thought he was a piece of dust. Oh, honey, I'm so sorry. Oh, he's flying.
Oh, he's alive. It's fine.
He just flew into my keyboard. Oh God, don't die now.
He did it to himself. Suicide.
I'm sorry, honey. I don't like hurting creatures.
You tried. You tried.
I did.
It was his time.
In my keyboard, though. I mean, I'm gonna have to get my air. That canned air. And just blow them out of there. Maybe that's what I'll do.
I think yep, that's a good idea.
I'm from Canada. I'm very proud of my country because, as you can see, there's a lot of people covering the Bilderberg conference. Last year, it took me 14 and a half hours to get to Munich. I was pulled off the plane in Milan. I was pulled off the plane in Munich. They interrogated me 4 hours in both places. I was able to call a friend, a journalist in Rome, as a result of his presence and others. Calling the foreign ministry department in Italy, they backed off and let me go. They basically told me that they'll keeping an eye on me 24 hours of the day. The little hotel where we were staying at, Jim and I, out of the 20 rooms, 6 were occupied, 3 by the CIA and 3 by the German Secret Service. That's how serious these people are, and that's how afraid they are of actually what we may be able to reveal and what we actually do reveal publicly about the Bilderberger intents.
Daniel Estulin has covered the Bilderberg meetings in Europe and North America for more than 15 years. His book, Club Bilderberg, has been translated into more than 20 languages and is a global bestseller. Estulin has photographed many past Bilderberg meetings.
Over the last couple of years, they've been reeling with the amount of leakage that they've been experiencing, so it's getting harder and harder. But again, it will never get too hard for us because of the sources that we have inside are top-notch sources. People who are actually working for them, the Secret Service, the second layer people in the Bilderbergers, the clerks, the administrative office, they're there. They are our eyes and ears, and every time there's something out, we always get the information. That's Francisco Pinto Balsamao.
I think that's the Queen.
Oh my God, yes, here.
You see her?
Oh
the Queen of Holland. What usually happens, the Secret Service guys who are protecting the Bilderberg delegates, the staff, the cooks, the chefs, when they actually get to see and to hear what some of these nasty people are talking about.
Oh, pause there.
They're the first ones to look for us and the first ones to make sure that...
There we go.
So he's talking about the staff, the cooks, the chefs, so in their meetings, a lot of the people who are whistleblowers for the Bilderberger meetings are the wait staff, people who serve the food, the people who fill the water. One of the people who filled the water said this again. Can't confirm it because it is hearsay. These meetings are not recorded, but anyway, this person said that they were trying to figure out, and this was maybe, what year is it? Maybe 20 years ago, but maybe not that far, maybe 15 or so years ago. They were trying to figure out how to get the world on board with switching, giving up some of their power, giving up some of their freedom, giving up, going into more of a fearful state. And how can we get them to want green energy? Because now they're going to start making money off green energy. And this is when Al Gore, right before Al Gore came out with was it an uncomfortable truth or whatever?
Inconvenient truth.
Inconvenient truth, yeah. So they were like, how's it going in America? We were kind of working on it in Europe. They're trying to push a global warming agenda to get people scared and to get them in line with buying certain kinds of products. And Hillary Clinton said, America has too much freedom. They'll never go for it unless you say it is for the planet.
Huh.
If you say it's for the planet, they will absolutely go for it. And as soon as that meeting, the next, like that year, started the whole global warming agenda where we're all going to die because we have too many. It's like how to get rid of cars and stuff. Like they were just trying to figure out how to limit our freedom. And she's like, if you tell them it's for the planet, they'll buy anything. And so they went into, it was like the recycling push, which had been pushed since the 70s, but now it went like full freaking throttle. And then the whole, like, they started coming out with hybrids and everything is super expensive. Why should we buy it? Because the planet. Because you're killing the planet, you stinky, filthy humans. Stop breeding so much. Stop having so much freedom. Don't drive your cars. If you do, like, bike to work, all this stuff started from the Bilderberg Group because they started working on the global climate change agenda.
Awesome. Awesome. Very blackpilling. Thank you.
You're welcome.
We get the information from the meeting. Again, we're very rigorous with information that does come out. We double, triple, and quadruple confirm the sources, make sure that all the information checks out. A lot of the stuff, the Bilderbergers have planted information, make sure that this disinformation nullifies the accuracy of the reporting. The decisions that these people take, again, they're not only decisions affect business community, they affect politics, business, environment across the entire spectrum. And these decisions are made and taken by a very elite group of people behind closed doors this year at the Brook Street Hotel. We are not privy to these decisions. We're not allowed to know what they're talking about. But we'll definitely feel the consequences of these decisions over the next 12 months when events which apparently by accident seem to happen, in fact, have been planned right here this year at Brook Street Hotel between 8th and 11th of June.
Golden Rule brings up a good
Bilderberg
point,
is an
if I
elite
may.
organization and the way it works.
Go ahead.
The man that invented the car that ran on water was assassinated. So if you know about that story,
real.
I'm going to assume you probably know about other stories. There have been dozens of not totally perpetual motion, but sort of perpetual motion vehicles, engines that run on air, and engines that run on water, engines that run on, like they actually draw water from the air, engines that run on all kinds of stuff that is totally, totally green, clean energy. All of the plans are either bought by the government. Some big contractor comes in. Oh God, the moth is back. Oh, I can't. So the big company comes down and says, sell us your patent and we'll sell it and you're going to be a giant megalomillionaire. And people are like, ooh, yay. They do that and then the plans get buried. Every single time they get buried. Check the Library of Congress for these patents. The patent office, check it. You will find dozens. If they don't sell, they somehow don't live very much longer.
Wow.
100%. My dad actually, for a little while, he was helping people with business planning because he's been an entrepreneur his whole life. So he got a business degree and decided to help people with business planning. One of the guys who was from California, and he had come up with an engine that ran on, I forget what it was, if it was water or something else, but he had a design for it. And in the middle of the planning, he got real quiet. And my dad's like, do you want the business plan? Like, because it costs money to do the business plan. And the guy kind of came back with like, yeah, things are kind of falling apart over here. I'm not sure if I can go forward with it. And then he's like, I sold the patent, so I'm just going to let that go. So he got paid off.
Wow.
And lived. And my dad was like, so you don't want the business plan? He's like, yeah, no, it's okay. I sold the patent. It's someone else is going to develop it. I can't go any further. People are threatened over this kind of thing. They do not want us living green as much as they say it. They don't mean it. They're making way too much money off of oil.
See, it's this type of shit that like, this is part of the reason I don't want to be relevant at all. It's like it's like a weird thing because like I want my content out there and I want people to know who I am and what I'm doing, but I don't want to be relevant in like the big picture at all because of like all these nefarious things that like Nick Fuentes is going to get killed. Like and God forbid. Like yeah. I of course I don't never want him to be hurt. I really pray that I'm wrong about that, but like they've literally already tried to kill him once.
Oh
and
yeah.
And it's just like I to have that type of profile or like like any of these people that are, you know, like the actual people who are going out on a limb to speak out against the system, not these fucking bought off and paid for influencers, but it's just like, I don't want that shit.
Oh no.
Leave me alone.
With Nick, that was just, they were able to trigger somebody who was already unhinged. If they actually put a hit on him, he would just disappear. Like they would find him in his bathtub, like that kind of thing. And oh, whoops, he suicided himself. I mean, like that kind of thing. It's scary. And he's talked about that. I've been kind of like paying attention to, because a lot of people are talking about him right now. And he's like, if they kill me, blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, you're talking big, dude. Please be careful. And I know, I'm sure he is. I hope he's taking this all very seriously, because it's not fucking funny. Like when you really touch a nerve, you know it because you're dead. You know, like that should happen. Or they just pay you off and if you don't agree to the deal to go disappear in Tahiti with, you know, a few $1 million to go shut up for the rest of your life, there's going to be problems. I'm surprised Alex Jones is still alive. I am shocked.
I think Alex Jones plays the game to a certain extent.
Maybe. Yeah.
Maybe not as much as he should, based on, you know, the things that have happened to him and them trying to, you know, sell off InfoWars and all that stuff. But like, I think that he plays the game enough where they allow him to continue. You know what I'm saying?
I think also he's so well known now that if he unalived himself, it would be too obvious. They're like, let him go. Everybody thinks he's crazy anyway. Nobody cares. It's fine. No one really takes him that seriously. You know, so it could be a little bit of that, but he kind of got big enough to be safe, if that makes sense. So I don't know. It's something. I'll tell you what, I don't believe a damn word that comes out of anybody's mouth in the upper echelon. I'll tell you that.
Oh no. Once you see it, you can't unsee it, and it ruins everything. Like I can't even look at media anymore. Even just like watching like normal like TV shows or something, I can see the agenda and everything, and I'm like, this sucks.
Nothing is fun anymore. Why is this all so hard?
I can't suspend disbelief. I know way too much, and I don't even know half as much as some people do.
True, right? There, somebody who's interviewed that has all the facts. That just like literally fall right out of their heads, and I'm like, God, I knew most of that, but I couldn't have come up. Well, not most, but like half of that. But I couldn't have. How do you live? How do you sleep at night with all that going in your head?
Can you imagine being David Icke?
Oh no. My goodness.
God bless him. But
with love. This is why I want to go to the country, man, because like I don't trust any of this shit. I'm not like super sold on the world's gonna blow up, but I'm not super sold on everything's okay either. So I'm just gonna go be somewhere safe. And if it doesn't blow up, I have a great place to live. And if it does blow up, I can probably grow my own food. So
there you go.
The protocol of the meetings is the staff, after they're vetted out, they're told exactly how they're supposed to behave themselves, meaning that they can never address the attendees, they can never speak to them unless they're spoken to first, they can never look them in the eye. They have to approach them from the right side, the people who are right-handed, and from the left side, the people who are left-handed. They can never look them straight on, and needless to say, all the information that is being spoken during the conferences is under no circumstances allowed to come out. That's what they're told. They're threatened with not being able to find another job anywhere in the sector if they reveal any information to the press. Now, I think what is very difficult for most people to understand is how such a small group of 125 men and a few women control a population base of 6 billion people. Actually, it's much easier than you think. These people work on what I call systemic methodology, meaning that you take a pie, just imagine you take an apple pie and you slice this apple pie into lots of very small pieces, and you put in front of each one of these pieces your man or woman of trust. And by controlling this individual, you control the entire organization. For example, if you take Paul Wolfowitz, who runs the World Bank, through him you can control the entire organization. You don't need to control what the dishwasher or the toilet cleaner thinks or does or believes in. You just need to control what he does and what he believes in, and what he does will permeate the entire organization. And that's how you control, with very, very small power base, an entire global population of 6 billion people.
Throughout history, we've had people with power attempting to consolidate their power and hold on to it. So that's really the agenda here. The agenda is to stay as powerful as possible for as long as possible and crush any competition.
Every 4 years, Bilderberg meets in North America, and in June of 2006, we decided to travel to Ottawa, the capital of Canada. The site of Bilderberg. In Bilderberg's long history, many reporters attempting to cover the group have been harassed, detained, and even jailed. I jokingly reassured my cameramen that the horror stories we'd read about were probably exaggerated. I was wrong.
We know reporters get detained at airports. People aren't let in. We know people get sent to the jailhouse for 3 or 4 hours. It happens every time. Well, it happened to Alex Jones this time. They admitted, Bilderberg, that they've had pressure put on them by the government to heighten security, and that's why all this happened. Yes, I was told that by 2 separate people. They scoured our records for hours yesterday and hours today, trying to find something on us, and of course there was nothing. It was just scary. I mean, I've been all over the world, and I've never seen anything like this. It was like hours of humiliation. And they said, "What are you here for?" And I said, "Well, I'm here to, cover the media, covering a political event. I hope to talk to some members of Parliament." I was answering all the questions. It was clear I wasn't a threat. It was clear I didn't have any criminal record. It was clear I was press. It was clear I was coming to interview people. They were going to deny me. They told me earlier that I was probably going to be denied, and then you guys showed up, and everything changed.
So what's your plan now?
My plan is to go out and try to interview Jim Tucker, try to go down to the Bilderberg Group.
On the outskirts of the national capital today, black limousines with darkened windows converged on a hotel where private security guards imposed ironclad control. The limos carried royalty, political power brokers, and industrial titans to a secret meeting that will last all weekend. It's known as the Bilderberg Group. Could their objective be world domination?
There are several rings of security service. The American delegation at every Bilderberg meeting is usually protected by the CIA and a special division of the U.S. Army. The British delegation is protected by the MI6. Israelis usually are protected by the Mossad. The Ottawa police, in this case, working for the security, they have very little, actually they don't have any information at all of what the meeting is about. They don't even know who the Bilderbergs are. Then there's an elite private firm protecting the perimeter, doing all the dirty work, such as shooting off the photographers and bothering the protesters. But, that's like piddly stuff. All the heavy stuff is done by the security service, such as the CIA, MI6.
We are on the verge of a global transformation. All we need is the right major crisis, and the nations will accept the New World Order. David Rockefeller.
We saw David Rockefeller and the Gone Black at the beyond the hotel, and they had no bodyguards. One of my friends shouted, "Hey, Rockefeller!" and he turned back and he was afraid.
My name's Rene. I'm from Manitoba. Drove about 26 hours to get here, just to show that I'm against the Bilderbergers, just to fight for my freedoms, fight for my rights, make sure that my children can grow up in a free country.
Rockefeller frontman Henry Kissinger is always a key participant. Here you see the president of the CFR, Richard N. Haas, followed by Vice Chairman of Rothschild Europe, Franco Barnaby, who is speaking with Henry Kravitz, and behind them is Richard Holbrooke, former U.S. Ambassador to the United Nations. The head of Daimler Chrysler, Jürgen Erich Schrempf, arrives by helicopter. Here, the owner of the Washington Post, Donald Graham, escorts Indra Nooyi, the head of PepsiCo. Queen Beatrix of the Netherlands, whose father, Prince Bernhard, founded Bilderberg, is a leading figure in the group. Of course, globalist kingpin David Rockefeller, seen here with his bodyguard, James Ford, always attends. The then newly appointed World Bank chief Paul Wolfowitz is photographed at Bilderberg 2005. It has been reported that Wolfowitz had attended previous meetings while still the Deputy Secretary of Defense, a violation of the Logan Act. Under the Logan Act, it is a felony offense for any member of the federal or state government to meet with members of a foreign government without the express authority and authorization of the President or Congress. Put simply, it is illegal for members of the government to meet secretly behind closed doors with foreign power brokers due to the problems of corruption and espionage that it breeds. For this reason, many prominent politicians attend, but their names do not appear on the official list. Despite the Logan Act, the governor of New York's name, George Pataki, does appear on the list, and we were able to catch the governor on tape walking with David Rockefeller at Brook Street.
They're upset about the fact that they're being exposed.
Well, I'm sure they are. I mean, look at the tinted windows. They don't want to be seen. They don't want even anybody to know they're here. So I'm sure they're ticked, you know, and that's why we're here to try to expose them.
Do you think that they were angry that they were on the front page of the local paper today? You think they're in there reading it right now, Jim?
Yes, but I don't think they're happy about it. They prefer nothing at all, no publicity. They prefer absolute secrecy.
Ladies and gentlemen, we're here in Canada today to stand up against the Bilderberg Group.
God love Alex Jones.
Sovereignty of the United States.
He's so fearless.
The truth of your world government has now been exposed. We know you are ruthless. We know you are evil. To David Rockefeller, to the Rothschild representatives here, to the Queen of the Netherlands, to all of you, we tell you, you are not our queens. You are not our kings. You are not our gods. We do not belong to you. We are not your slaves. We stand as free humans have stood since the beginning of time against the strong men, against the thugs, against the bullies. We will defeat your world government. We will defeat world taxation. We will defeat your control grid.
This is the question that I had, I think, when we first watched the Alex Jones documentary. I said, why aren't they at some super secret location that, like, you only get, like, a helicopter to go to the top of a mountaintop, and it's some secret lodge that no one knows about, and Alex Jones can't be standing. Like, why are they at some random Marriott with a giant, like, parking lot around it, giving Alex Jones more than enough room to use his megaphone?
You're asking that question? Well,
yeah, that was the question I had last time. I was like, I mean, these are the richest, most powerful people in the world. The Queen of the Netherlands is involved. I mean, the Netherlands has a lot of remote spots. Like, you go to basically any Nordic country, go up into a mountain into some, like, giant lodge or something like that. Or they could even build it. They could build their own secret. They could build an underground bunker where no one knows where the fuck they are. Like, why are they going to some random Marriott in the middle of nowhere?
I think in the beginning, that's like the Bilderberg Hotel is why they're called Bilderbergs. Of the Bilderberg Group, and that's where they met. And it was just like nobody suspected anything. It was just a bunch of diplomats or very rich people coming to the hotel for an event. I mean, that's not necessarily out of ordinary, but and then it was kind of super secret stuff. But see, now in this day and age, we've got media everywhere. There's nowhere they can go where someone's not going to be able to find them. And they have gone to some places like way up in the Swiss Alps. There have been some very trying to find more remote locations. But I think at some point they just, first of all, I don't think they actually expected this to happen. I don't think, you know how the audacity of the rich or the audacity of the powerful,
the hubris of them. Yeah.
It's like, what? No one's going to even dare challenge us. What's so unusual? And all of a sudden here comes Mr. Jones going like, yeah, we know what you're doing. And then all the rest of the little newly little budded YouTubers and stuff are coming on and they're jumping all over it. And so now I don't know where they meet. I know that there is a website and I think Alex Jones even has it on his website, but there are several people who, once they find out where they're going, they announce it. So people always know where they are. They can't get away from it now.
Yeah.
If they didn't show up somewhere, then it would be like, oh, they're somewhere secret. Now we got to look even harder. So at this point, they're hiding in plain sight.
Yeah, that's a good point. Like, if they just stopped having meetings, everyone would be like, what the fuck? Where'd they go? Where
they went to an underground bunker.
Where did they build a secret underground bunker? And then they try to find that, and then they eventually would find it. Probably because they've identified some massive construction thing or something like that in some foreign country.
There's underground bunkers that have already been identified for the elite to go to if the world blows up. And so it's like people already know where they are exactly. And so like even if they went there would still be freaking YouTubers there with their freaking cell phones. Like, we see you, you scum. You know, like it would still be, it would still happen. That right now they're just hiding in plain sight. And you'll like a little bit later, one of the guys who is one of the what was he in? He was in some committee for the group, and he's like, oh no, it's just a chance for us to talk openly. Nothing weird happens. Like he just completely, they're just gaslighting at this point. They're too important to care about the little people, even if we do know what they're up to.
God is on our side. I stand before the creator of the universe, and I ask the creator of the universe, as our founding fathers did in 1776, to lead, guide, and direct us, and to give us the power and the foresight and the understanding and the will to stand against your entire agenda, including your final plan of world population reduction of 80% that Henry Kissinger penned in 1973. Why do you put mercury in the vaccines, sodium fluoride in the water? Why? Why do you put cancer viruses in the vaccines? Why have you used depleted uranium now in 4 separate nations? You're arrogant. You have the sickness that elites have had throughout history in their literal and, in some cases, figurative ivory towers. You believe that you're invincible. You will and you are failing now. Your New World Order will fall. Humanity will defeat you. The answer to 1984 is 1776.
Yeah, buddy.
Alex.
That moth
We
just
went into
totally dive
downtown
bombed me
Ottawa
too.
and talked to
That moth
locals
can go fuck
to
itself,
learn if they
Jennifer.
were
It's trying
aware
to
of
commit
the elite
suicide. Let it
meeting
die.
in their city.
I saved you, asshole.
In the city, around 10% of the people were aware of the New World Order agenda. When we traveled to Parliament, close to half of the people we randomly spoke to were informed.
Ma'am, what did you say about the American Union?
It's going to end up happening. We don't want it, but it's going to happen.
Why do you think?
Because the Bilderberg Group runs the world.
You have the Trilateral Commission, that's also part of the Bilderberg, which is the United States, Europe, and Asia. But most of this is public knowledge. Nobody wants to believe that there are conspiracies, that world leaders are already elected before they're voted on. So here we know that Bernard Lord is part of the outer circle. I was surprised to read that Harper addressed the group in 2003 because my understanding was nobody gets into politics without becoming part of the Bilderberg Group. And then you find out afterwards that that is the case, that they have...
Well, Bill Clinton went there in 91, George Bush Sr. back in like 85.
And Blair, same thing. Who we think that we're electing as leaders have already been pre-picked for us, whether it's liberal or a conservative. They're already part of the group.
What?
They own all the horses in the race.
They own
The Scot just challenged the Italian to a drinking contest.
Oh, for fuck's sake, can you stop? No, ignore Tommy.
Oh, Tommy, you brash bastard, you're adorable.
Man.
horses, and I understand that, for example, in the United States, it's a one-party system with 2 factions, though you think it's 2 different parties.
Oh, it is, yeah.
So
it's like Bill Clinton constantly vacations with the Bushes, and they call him their son, and they actually staged all that in '92, and all that's come out. It's just all staged. They're not going to let trillions of dollars slip through their hands. The good news is people are waking up, though. When you read human history, when you study it, all you see is elites trying to dominate, subterfuge, Machiavellian backstabbing, and somehow in the last 50 years they convinced Westerners that the government's fine, can do no wrong, trust them. How did this happen?
It's easy to lead sheep. I mean, people just follow. They don't want to believe these things will happen. No way. We'll just follow along with the norm. That's all. It's just makes it easier for everyone.
The Bilderberg Group sits at the top of the world power structure. 125 of the richest and most influential individuals on the globe make up its membership. From Istanbul, Turkey to Chantilly, Virginia, we have tracked the elusive Bilderberg Group. Bilderberg always insist on a media blackout. By June of 2008, we had already figured out that Barack Obama was the elite's puppet of choice. The national media claimed that during the weekend the Bilderberg Group was scheduled to meet, that Obama had speaking engagements set for Chicago and the Midwest. We knew better. In a classic bait and switch, the Obama campaign told the press corps to get on Obama's campaign plane, and that Obama would join them on the flight to Chicago. Campaign staff then slammed the door shut. The fawning press had been shanghaied as Obama's campaign aircraft lifted off without Obama.
Robert, why were we not told about this meeting and that the senator wouldn't be on our flight until the doors were shut and we were about to taxi to take off?
Again, we had a desire, Senator Obama had a desire to do some meetings. Others had a desire to meet with him tonight in a private way, and that's what we're doing. And we set up these meetings. They're being done tonight. Again,
Is there more than one meeting? Is there more than one person with whom?
I'm not going to get into all the details of the meetings. I don't know that I've got a ton more different answers for all of your questions.
You have a question?
Obama wasn't going to Chicago. He had a
Go ahead.
Okay, Golden Rule says Trump is an FM2. What do you mean FM? What is FM? I feel like I missed that acronym. He's not part of Bilderberg. He was asked to join. He had a close associate that he worked with during his first campaign, and he was asked, and he turned it down. In all the coverage I've seen in Bilderberg, I've never seen any Trump family member there.
You think Trump is a Freemason, bro?
Oh, no.
Okay.
This is why they hate him. Why do both sides hate him? You know, it's
well,
because...
to be fair, both sides don't hate him anymore. They may have hated him at first. They don't hate him anymore. In fact, they kind of seem to all like him right now. CNN was praising Trump the other day.
I missed that. Really?
Yeah.
For the handle of Putin and what's his name?
Yeah.
That
I'm gonna be honest, bro. You've only been on my channel for 2 days and you've been wrong about an awful lot, and so you're gonna have to build up some credibility if you want to do pinky swear trust us, bro. And so please just drop it.
Yeah, I'm not sure because like I listen to a lot of conspiracy stuff and I haven't heard boo about Trump, and that's kind of one of the reasons I like him. So in the beginning, like one of the reasons both sides hated him is he had not been handpicked. He had not been chosen. He had been turning away from Democrats since the Clinton administration, like slowly but surely. He used to be a Democrat. Then he was like realizing what they're all up to, and he's spoken plainly about that, where he's like, I was, friends. Yes, I contributed to the Clinton campaign and everything back in the early 90s and all that. And he did that. And then once he started kind of getting to know them a little better, because it's all just a bunch of rich kids, right? Rich kid adults, whatever, throwing money at each other. And then once he started really paying attention, because he was beginning to consider politics, he realized kind of what was going on. So he began turning his back on people, including Jeffrey Epstein and all that whole crowd. And so since he was not anointed, that's why everyone was so pissed, and why Hillary had a mental breakdown the night she lost and trashed her hotel room and all this other stuff. Because like it was a complete one of the first time since probably Roosevelt that a chosen leader was not elected. So anyway, just saying that's a lot of some of the coverage I've heard from the last 10 years. Anyway,
meeting to attend, a secret meeting.
Initially, it was believed that the secret meeting took place at Clinton's Washington, D.C. home. Obama's spokesman denied that, but won't confirm where the former rivals met. He also declined to comment on their topics of discussion.
For a day and a half, the mainstream media engaged in a wild goose chase, trying to find out where Hillary and Obama had gone. 3 cover stories later, the corporate press had to admit they had no idea where the 2 candidates had gone. And to this day, Clinton and Obama aren't talking.
Plenty of sources knew about this meeting, told us and others that it was at Hillary Clinton's house, but clearly it wasn't.
In 2008, the trail led us to the Westfields Marriott Hotel, right outside Washington, D.C.
We just flew into Washington, D.C. We're driving to the Westfields Marriott. Tomorrow, the hotel's closed throughout the weekend of the weekend for the Bilderberg Group meeting. We're going to check in the night before. They're going to kick us out tomorrow. So we're going directly into the belly of the beast. The hotel will be filled with at least 5 spy agencies
CIA, Defense Intelligence, Mossad, European Union security. We checked into the Westfield's Marriott 48 hours before hotel guests were scheduled to be thrown out ahead of the annual meeting. The building was nestled in the heart of the military-industrial complex, with the National Reconnaissance Office and Raytheon just a stone's throw away.
The music.
See, this is the type of music that needs to be behind conspiracy content.
During the entire two-day event, anti-New World Order protesters and alternative media encircled the hotel.
You are being exposed everywhere! From David Rockefeller, from John Edwards, from Bill Clinton! Your game of secrecy is over!
No, Luke.
You're gonna play! Get him! It's up close! You piece of crap!
This is Bernanke, man. Bernanke, you're going down.
Obama, we know you're here, Obama. You cleared your schedule for the next 3 days. We know you're in Virginia.
Arch criminals! New World Order scum! We are not your slave scum!
Brave Americans came from all over the United States and bullhorned the main conference hall at close range as the global power brokers
I'm
schemed
sure they
inside.
were thrilled about that.
Arch criminals! You control the central bank, you control the currency, and you're turning our beautiful country and world into a nightmare!
The global elite are desperate to keep their organizational meetings a secret. They are keenly aware that if the population discovers that policy is being developed covertly by powerful special interest, the people will revolt.
It is our duty to expose these criminals. It's a criminal act under federal law for federal officials to have private meetings to discuss world policy with non-federal workers. So everybody from the State Department, Treasury Department, White House, Defense Department, and others who show up, as they always do, they're committing a criminal act simply by being here to attend a secret meeting with officials from other countries to discuss U.S. policy in the world. So literally, it's a criminal act. And every newspaper, every broadcaster has a patriotic duty to expose these scum and the evil they project.
In June of 2006, our team traveled to Ottawa, Canada, to gather intelligence on the shadow government's agenda for the coming years.
I think that's the Queen!
Investigative journalist and best-selling author Daniel Estulin had been tracking the Bilderberg Group for more than 16 years. His moles inside Bilderberg informed him that the elite were planning to first run the price of gas up to $150 a barrel, unimaginable in 2006. He also reported that after suckering the middle class back into the stock market, the group was going to implode the subprime mortgage market and destroy public confidence.
Well, one of the things that we're getting from this morning's conference was about the energy crisis, the price of oil. The afternoon conference, which started about 4 o'clock, 4:30, they were talking about one of the American delegates. I wasn't told who exactly it was talking about the the concern that the American citizens have had with the housing prices going down, so they're not investing that money. So what they needed to do is they needed to create the illusion that everything is going well. So what they're going to do over the next year and a half is to bring the market back up to 1998, 1999 levels. They got to get all the suckers to invest whatever little money they have left over, and that's when they're going to make the economy.
Okay, I just saw it.
Bottom drop out. They need to destroy the economy because as we're running out.
What?
That bothers me when I see something that's like a conspiracy theory that I don't know about, so I immediately look into it. So I just looked into Trump's secret fist bump, handshake, thumb, something, whatever. It is not. They did not do the thumb thing. First of all, Freemasons don't allow women as members, so she would not have known the secret handshake, which I was thinking about earlier, but I didn't say anything. Maybe she could have been part of like the Rose group or something, but still, she would not have known it unless they've made an exception. So I just saw the video of the handshake, and it's basically he just grabs her hand like this, and they do this real quick, and that's it.
Yeah.
The thumbs don't even move. So if somebody posted a video with thumbs moving, it was probably, I'm guessing, not authentic.
Yeah.
That was bothering me. Sorry, I had to know. I can't stand that kind of thing. I
See,
gotta know.
Jennifer, if you're going to be on the internet, maybe I'm a bit sullen, but if you're going to be on the internet, you have to learn not to take everything everyone says seriously at all times, because no offense to my chat, I know my chat is better than most. Most people don't know what the fuck they're talking about, and they literally just make shit up. The vast majority of people on the internet just make shit up.
Very possible. Well, more than one person was saying it, and I'm like, okay, if there's corroboration, I'm gonna look it up. So that's what I did. Due diligence.
More than one person saying it, you don't know who these people are.
Hey, I'm always down for a good conspiracy theory. I mean, I'm not afraid to meet my heroes. They all suck anyway. I'm not like a Trump or die person. I mean, I'll check it out. So I looked at it. I mean, if you want me to put the link in the chat, if anybody wants to look at it, I will.
No, can we just drop it? Can we just watch the video and drop it?
Yeah, so Karlyn, my Karlyn.
Thank you.
Of oil. When people don't travel, at least that's what they're saying. When people don't travel, when people don't have money, they don't travel, they don't spend any money, which means you don't waste a lot of oil and natural gas. That's the afternoon.
So how does this source? I mean, just ballpark. I mean, so you have the sources.
Well, actually, there are two people who are members of the Bilderberg Club.
It's actual members.
They're members of the Bilderberg Club who, for years and years and years, have been going and participating in all the conversations. They've always been dead on, always. And last year they said the oil prices are going to go up to 150. At the time it was 39, went up to 76, basically doubled. If it doubles again, it's going to be back to where these people say.
They attack Iran and will it on.
Year after year, Estelin and other reporters like Jim Tucker are able to report on future events with stunning accuracy, all because they know the agenda of the Bilderberg Group.
Look how many people showed up. You gotta just imagine that these people are just so pissed off at all these fucking hooligans showing up to shout at them with like, who the fuck do they think they are?
Yeah. Why are the little people here? We wish your privacy. Yeah.
Jonathan, is Nick Fuentes Jesuit? I mean, he's Catholic. I don't know if he's a Jesuit. I know there are different denominations of Catholic or whatever, but
I don't think so. He doesn't talk like he probably would have said it loud and proud if he was, knowing him.
Years, the lack of coverage from the mainstream media on the Bilderberg Group has been a problem as far as raising awareness about these conferences. However, 2012 is a major turning point for the Bilderberg Group, as the independent media have been here providing the coverage that's been lacking from the mainstream.
Where's Fox News been for the last 15 years? CNN for the last 20 years? Why does Sean Hannity ridicule anybody that calls in and asks about the significance of the Bilderberg Group?
Is he even still around?
On the payroll. When people say that, quote, they control the media, they're talking about the secret establishment. 501c3 tax-exempt foundations have to make certain forms publicly available. And so somebody tipped me off about this, that the 990 forms are available for the Bilderberg Group. And I got the years 2007, 2008, 2009, 2010. Well, first of all, they're operating under the 501c3 tax-exempt name American Friends of Bilderberg. The 2008 forms also show a list of very interesting donors. Henry Kissinger, $20,000. David Rockefeller, $50,000. Freeport McMorman Foundation, $10,000. Microsoft, $75,000. Peter Thiel from PayPal, $75,000. Goldman Sachs, $25,000. The Washington Post, $25,000. So of course the Washington Post is going to be reluctant to report on them when they are literally funding them, and I have the proof in my hand.
This group is meeting with government officials. It violates federal law, the Logan Act. And for decades they said it didn't even exist. This is the real oligarchs that run our government, run Europe, run most of the world through the big central banks, and the fraud that they engage in. These are the real tyrants. So we're identifying them, not the puppet presidents and prime ministers. We're going directly to the financial oligarch, the robber barons.
In their efforts to maintain the control of information globally, Influential figures of the media have been routinely invited to participate in the conferences over the years. Peter Mansbridge of CBC's The National attended the meeting in 2010 and has maintained their strict rules for secrecy ever since. Fellow Canadian Heather Reisman is the CEO of Indigo Books, the largest book supplier in Canada, and she is a member of the Bilderberg Steering Committee. In 2005, Reisman founded the Hesag Foundation, which provides grants to former lone soldiers in the Israeli army to pursue post-secondary education. A lone soldier is an individual who is not from Israel, but chooses to fight in the Israeli military.
Right. Wow.
Other media moguls and organizations that have attended the Bilderberg meetings over the years have included Rupert Murdoch of News Corporation, Andrew Knight of News Corporation and The Economist, Ted Turner of Time Warner and CNN, Charlie Rose, Donald Graham of The Washington Post, and Canadian media baron and former Bilderberg Steering Committee member Conrad Black of Hollinger International and The Telegraph newspaper. While all of these powerful media organizations have been present at Bilderberg meetings over the years, there has remained a media blackout all across the board regarding coverage of this group.
Hi. I was just wondering what your opinions were. You talk a little bit about it in the book of the influence of the Bilderberg Group on the mainstream media, or on just the influence.
The individuals are influential, but their influence isn't magnified by Bilderberg. I went for 20 years.
Mm-hmm.
It's just a talking shop, and they're almost always wrong, by the way. They didn't see the end of the Cold War coming. They didn't see the economic crisis coming. They're very interesting meetings. They're very interesting people, but they're not coherent. They aren't a group that meets other than for 3 days a year, and the composition of them changes all the time, except for about 30 of us who are on the steering committee.
And how come?
Don't buy into these conspiracy theories. It's rubbish. All they do is talk to each other. I was on that conference circuit for 20 years, the Trilateral Commission, and I went to all of them. And look, it was fine while it lasted, but I'm getting too old for that. I'm getting tired. But,
okay.
You know.
All right. Thank you very much.
Okay. Thanks. Right. But there's no conspiracy in any of them.
No.
No, there's just a bunch of people.
How come you don't ever hear about it in the media? Like, I only read about it in your book.
They don't allow the media.
No.
But in order to encourage people to talk frankly, what you do, you get good, frank sessions. But there's no meeting of the minds particularly.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Fellow Hollinger International Board of Directors member Marie-Josée Kravis has made significant inroads since being invited to Bilderberg by Conrad Black in 1989. Marie-Josée is the wife of Bilderberg member Henry Kravis and has been a member of the Bilderberg Steering Committee for over 22 years. At the trial of the now defunct media baron Conrad Black, Marie-Josée Kravis testified against him, providing evidence for the prosecution. Other prominent Canadians who have attended the Bilderberg conferences include former Prime Minister of Canada Lester B. Pearson, Pierre Elliott Trudeau, Jean Chrétien, Paul Martin, and Stephen Harper. Many other influential Canadian politicians and business leaders have also attended the secret meetings, including former NDP leader Bob Rae, former Liberal Party leaders Stéphane Dion and Michael Ignatieff, former Premier of Ontario Mike Harris, former Premier of New Brunswick Bernard Lord, former Premier of British Columbia Gordon Campbell, the Premier of Alberta, Alison Redford, the Chief of Staff for Prime Minister Stephen Harper, Nigel S. Wright, and Power Corporation of Canada CEO, Paul Desmarais Sr. In fact, nearly every Canadian Prime Minister back to Pierre Elliott Trudeau has worked for Power Corp.
I attended one Bilderberg meeting.
I'm not sure they ever invited me back, but just to make sure, I've also gone to a Maple Leaf hockey game. That doesn't mean I'm a Maple Leaf fan. I believe that there is an opportunity now with the G20 having been called for the first time for us to put together a global steering committee of all the great powers of the world. If I was asked what is the single most important thing that can be done to get us out of this mess, it is going to be to recognize now that we are one common humanity, divided perhaps into economic entities called countries. The time has come for us to work together.
In 1996, you were at a Bilderberg meeting, and also there was Jean Chrétien and Paul Martin.
I don't know if I was at that meeting. I've only been to a few of them, but Bilderberg and Tralala are not really think tanks. They simply individuals who get together who are from business, the political world, the media, others, and discuss ideas, and they influence each other through that.
In 2008, it was revealed that the Canadian government, under the leadership of Bilderberg member Stephen Harper, would be buying $25 billion worth of mortgage pools through the Canada Mortgage and Housing Corporation. Shortly after the election in October of 2008, the re-elected Harper Conservatives unilaterally announced the government will purchase up to an additional $50 billion of insured mortgage pools by the end of the fiscal year as a part of its ongoing efforts to maintain the availability of longer-term credit in Canada. This action will increase to $75 billion, the maximum value of securities purchased through Canada Mortgage and Housing Corporation. There was no debate in the Canadian Parliament over whether to hand out $75 billion in taxpayer money to the private chartered banks, nor was it covered by the Bilderberg-controlled mainstream media. The control of the Bilderberg Group extends not only to the media and the control of information, but also to the Canadian banking system itself and our ability to control our own currency. In 1938, Prime Minister William Lyon Mackenzie King nationalized the Bank of Canada, giving control of the Canadian currency to the people of Canada.
Okay.
Although the issuance of currency is held solely by the Bank of Canada, the creation of credit through the issuance of loans is still largely controlled by private chartered banks. As part of the Bank of Canada's charter, the government can borrow up to 50% of its own money from the Bank of Canada at 0% interest. The other half of the interest is paid back into the government, allowing for the financing of our own infrastructure, such as the St. Lawrence Seaway and the Trans-Canada Highway. Because of Bilderberg member Paul Martin, Canada now borrows its money from the private chartered banks at the going interest rate, effectively handing over the usury and interest to private corporations. Prior to Prime Minister Brian Mulroney, all banks had to hold an 8% reserve, meaning they could lend out the same money 12.5 times through credit and loans. Mulroney dropped this to a 0% reserve, allowing private banks to loan as much money as they want, simply by entering a new line on a ledger. Currently, the Bank of Canada is only responsible for 5% of the actual debt created in the form of currency. The private chartered banks, such as Royal Bank of Canada and TD Bank, own the remaining 95% of all debt. Think of how much control this amounts to when you consider all of the digital payment and loan options used today, such as credit cards, debit cards, internet payments, RFID chips, smartphone purchases.
Yeah, I don't want to think about that.
And even biometric identification, which is now used in India for bank withdrawals. Very few people use real currency, and the trend is turning to an increasing reliance on digital and computer technologies, of which are largely controlled by members of the Bilderberg Group. Members of the Bilderberg Group who are involved in the Canadian banking system include President and CEO of Royal Bank of Canada, Gordon Nixon, President and CEO of TD Bank Financial Group, Edmund Clark, Deputy Chair of TD Bank Financial Group and former Canadian Ambassador to the United States, Frank McKenna. Former Minister of Finance and Director of Manulife Financial, Michael Wilson. Managing Director of Credit Suisse Securities, Ronald S. Lloyd. Former CEO of Scotiabank, Peter C. Godsoe. Former Governor of the Bank of Canada, David A. Dodge. And Governor of the Bank of Canada and former Goldman Sachs executive, Mark Carney. The reach of the Bilderberg Group extends to every level of the policy apparatus in both the private and public sectors. Its members over the years have been the most influential and powerful individuals in the world. Whether or not they act in concert with each other or simply influence one another through these meetings is beside the point. The decisions made by each of these individuals have a ripple effect for the rest of the world. For every action, there is an equal but opposite reaction. The creation of this new Orwellian technotronic society has spawned a new generation of warrior, information warriors, whose weapons are the very technologies created to enslave them. As the old forms of media slowly die away, this generation is finding new and exciting ways to spread information, open dialogue, and become the true citizen media. The Bilderberg Group and the individuals that attend are now facing a revolutionary adversary, an informed citizenry armed with the right questions and looking for the true answers.
Is that it? That was a good one, Jennifer. Oh, extra footage. Hang on.
Oh, good more.
Shit, pause. We got another 15
the
minutes.
ultimate goal that these people have in mind is the goal to create a one world government run by the banking industry, run by the bankers, and they're doing it in sections. The European currency, the euro, and the European Constitution is one part of it. Now they're trying to do it in America with the North American Union, right? And they want to create a new currency called
Oh
the
yeah,
euro.
did you ever hear about that?
And
yeah, I heard that, but I want to answer this. Yes, the radical left are actually taking over America, and they're gonna fuck everything up. And if you think that these people are gonna stop them with a little meeting in a little hotel, I got a bridge to fucking sell you, because that is not how the radical left works. And so I do not view these as connected things. I think that a lot of people underestimate the left for many reasons, mostly because they're completely uneducated. And so yes, I'm still deeply concerned about the radical left, and I think they're gonna fuck up the country, and I don't think there's anything these people can do to stop them.
So I do think they're connected. I don't know. Maybe I'm not as educated on in your area as you are, obviously, but I kind of feel like it's a vehicle for the overall scheme. Like it's what they're using.
It's not, though. I mean, they may think they're using them, but I don't think that they are using them. I think that the left has a mind of its own, and it's operating completely decentralized, and it's operating on this grassroots thing. I'm not saying there aren't some like onesie and twosie people on the left that wouldn't be involved in something like this, but this is not something they're involved with.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
I've never done any research to see if they connect or not. I just kind of assume that communism was the vehicle they always used to take over the populace. So
nope, not this time. At least not with the left in America. They're too decentralized. It is not possible to organize in the way that these people would have to organize when it comes to the left.
Oh, interesting.
The whole agenda is to create a one world government where everybody has an RFID chip implanted in them. All money is to be in those chips, right? There'll be no more cash. And this is getting me straight from Rockefeller himself. This is what they want to accomplish. And all money will be in your chips. And so instead of having cash, anytime you have money in your chip, they can take out whatever they want to take out whenever they want to. If they say you owe us this much money in taxes, they just deduct it out of your chip digitally.
Total control.
Total control.
They do this in China.
If you're like me or you,
they're doing it there now.
And you're protesting what they're doing, they can just turn off your chip. And you have
not
nothing.
with a chip, but
you can't buy
with
food.
a card.
You can't do anything. It's total control of the people.
And that chip's connected to a database that has your purchasing records, what you do.
Everything is in there. you know?
Yeah, what
And so
transit
they
you
want
can
a
use, where
one-world
you can
government
travel, which
controlled by
stores
them.
you can go into. It's all
Everybody
controlled
being
by the
chipped,
government.
all your money in those chips, and they control the chips, and they control people, and you become a slave. You become a serf to these people. That's their goal. That's their intentions.
Eric, can you be specific
Yeah,
about
ESG.
when you met Rockefeller, how it happened in these discussions?
I met Rockefeller through a female attorney I knew who called me up one day and said, one of the Rockefellers would like to meet you. I had made a video called Mad as Hell, and he'd seen the video and wanted to meet me and knew I was running for governor of Nevada. So sure, I'd love to meet him. And I met him, and I liked him, and he was a very, very smart man. And we used to talk and share ideas and thoughts. And
no,
he's the
not
one who told me 11 months before 9/11 ever happened that there was going to be an event. Never told me what the event was going to be, but there was going to be an event. And out of that event, we were going to invade Afghanistan.
By the way, I want to say this too. I oftentimes have trouble even trusting people on videos like this because I'm kind of like, I've just seen too many times where some video just like the one we're watching now came out with some guy that seemed like he was revealing all this information, and then you find out later they're just completely full of shit. They're making it all up. Maybe they're a little bit mentally ill and they actually believe it, or they just got like, they're like QAnon moms who they could go like it's like one of those things where it's like, if you don't know that they're psychotic, maybe it sounds like maybe if they tell you the right parts of the story, something makes sense, but then you find out they're completely not there.
It's that happened with the UFO exposer guy. Like it came out later that he was not mentally stable and that he'd been talking about weird shit for a while. And all of a sudden he found his platform and he went on like a whistleblower, and he had some credibility, but like his marbles were all not in a row. They were not in the bag. Yeah, and it's frightening because it's like, what do you believe? That's why it's like, watch this with a grain of salt, you know. And that's why I kind of like Alex Jones, because I feel like to a degree, at least now, he vets his information a little bit better than he used to. But yeah, this kind of stuff can be a little unnerving for sure.
Pipelines from the Caspian Sea. We were going to invade Iraq, you know, to take over the oil fields, establish a base in the Middle East, and make it all part of the New World Order. And we go after Chavez in Venezuela. And sure enough, later 9/11 happened. And I remember he was telling me how you're going to see soldiers looking in caves for people in Afghanistan and Pakistan and all these places. And there's going to be this war on terror, which is no real enemy. And the whole thing is a giant hoax, you know, but it's a way for the government to take over the American people.
He told you it was going to be a hoax.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. There's no question. He says, there's going to be war on terror. And he's just laughing. There's no... Who are we fighting? I mean, why do you think 9/11 happened and then nothing's happened since then? Do you think that our security is so great here that these people who pulled off 9/11 were able to...
Like, I thought more would go down.
Exactly.
Come on, it's ridiculous. 9/11 was done by people in our own government and our own banking system to perpetuate the fear of the American people into subordinating themselves to anything the government wants them to do. That's what it's about, and to create this war, this endless war on terror. And that's why and that was the first lie. And the next lie was going into Iraq, you know, to get Saddam Hussein out with his weapons of mass destruction. That was the next lie.
Now, specifically, this was a little over 6 years ago.
This was
11 months before 9/11.
Yeah.
And Nick Rockefeller, who's a lawyer, he's become your friend over the previous years, and he's saying to you that there's going to be this big event, and then out of that we're going to have a war on terror, and it's just going to go on and on.
Right. An endless war on terror without any real enemy. That you can never, so you can never define a winner.
And did he say that it's going to be perfect because you can't define an enemy? It just goes on and on?
Because you can't define a winner. There's no one to beat, so it goes on and on forever. And they can do whatever they want. They scare the hell out of the American public. Look, this whole war on terror is a fraud.
It got us all scared.
It's a farce. It's very difficult to say it out loud because people are intimidated against saying it. Because if you say it, they want to make you into a nutcase. But the truth has to come out. That's why I'm doing this interview. The fact of the matter happens to be that the whole war on terror is a fraud. It's a farce. There's a war going on in Iraq because we invaded Iraq. And people over there fighting, But the war on terror, it's a joke, And until we discover what really happened on 9/11 and who was responsible for 9/11, because that's where the war on terror emanates from. That's where it comes from. It was 9/11 that allowed this war on terror to begin. And until we get to the bottom root of 9/11, the truth of 9/11, we'll never know about the war on terror.
Aaron, you said that he was, and I think it's important, and I know this about the Rockefellers from Dr. Dennis Cuddy and many others who literally, you'll be 20 years old in a lunch line at college, and there's David Rockefeller. And they're experts at recruiting and getting what they call players, and that clearly he was, I want to make it specific and just get you to reiterate what you said last night about you got 30% of the vote, you were having an effect, you made mad as hell, they knew that you'd started the Constitution Party, they knew that you were somebody who was taking action and getting things done, you already made some big films, had a lot of other successes, so they were trying to recruit you, and didn't it come down to the point of, hey, we are here to recruit you, and don't worry, your chip's going to say, don't mess with us, this guy's don't touch.
Yes, that did happen. I was definitely being recruited, but it's more subtle than that.
Well, in your words, just go through the process, and then what he said.
Well, what it is remember we were friends, and we used to go to my house a lot. We'd have dinner, we'd talk, and he'd tell me about business investments that he'd get involved in, or they would help me with this business investment or that business investment. And was I interested in joining the Council on Foreign Relations? I would have to get a letter to join them, but was I interested in that? And, just stuff, leading you on. And I used to say to him that I never really did that because that wasn't where I was coming from. As much as I like you, Nick, your ways and my ways, we're on the opposite side of the fence. I don't believe in enslaving people,
And he would come back with, "Oh, I do." Or?
Well, it would be more like
it's better for them.
Well, it's more like how do I put it? It was like, what do you care about them? What do you care about those people? What difference does it make to you? Take care of your own life. Do the best you can for you and your family. What do the rest of the people mean to you? They don't mean anything to you. They're just serfs. They're just people. It was just a lack of caring, and that's just not who I was. It was just sort of like cold, it was just like cold, and I used to say to him, what's the point of all this? You have all the money in the world you need. You have all the power you need. What's the point? What's the end goal? And he said the end goal is to get everybody chipped, to control the whole society. To have the bankers, the elite people, the bankers and some governor controlling the world. And I said, do all the people in the Council on Foreign Relations believe this way you do? He said, no. Most of them believe they're doing the right thing. A lot of them believe it's better off being socialistic. We have to convince people that socialism is really capitalism. Because America's becoming a socialist country. It's a communist country today. Well, one of the things they told me was that he was at the house one night, and we were talking, and he started laughing. He said, "Aaron, what do you think women's liberation was about?" And I said, I had pretty conventional thinking about it at that point. I said, I think it's about women having the right to work, getting equal pay with men, just like they won the right to vote, And he started to laugh. He said, "You're an idiot." And I said, "Why am I an idiot?" He said, let me tell you what that was about. We, the Rockefellers, funded that. We funded Women's Lib, and we're the ones who got all over the newspapers and television, the Rockefeller Foundation. He says, and you want to know why? He said, there were two primary reasons. And one reason was we couldn't tax half the population before Women's Lib. And the second reason was now we get the kids in school at an early age. We can indoctrinate the kids how to think. It breaks up the family. The kids start looking at the state as the family, as the school, as the officials, as their family, not as the parents teaching them. And so those are the two primary reasons for Women's Lib.
Why? I think it's bullshit.
I need to know why.
It's a noble thing.
Because what he's saying actually makes no sense when you compare it to like reality.
But isn't that the socialist agenda? Isn't that what they're doing? They're trying to make they're breaking up the family.
They are doing that, but not for that reason. And so if somebody this is what conservatives do all the time, is like they understand that something is happening, but then they ascribe a reason that is completely unhinged from why they're actually doing it and how they're doing it and what they actually think and all that, and it becomes just like so obvious. So there's no socialist agenda to put the kids in public school to break them up from their family in public school. Now, are they trying to attack parental rights? Yes. Do they want to destroy the nuclear family? Yes, but it's not for these reasons, and there is no reality in which that what he's saying aligns with what they're actually doing. Does that make sense?
It does, but is it possible that it's like, how do I phrase that?
No.
Well, like
I know what you're going to say, and it's not possible.
That one's using the other, or that one's allowing the other because it's working for them?
No, because what the left is doing is not at all aligned with what he is describing.
Okay.
What they're actually doing does not match.
So, in your opinion, then, how is the left's agenda? How is it?
Has nothing to do with state control. They don't want what they perceive as the state to exist.
True, yeah, but so if we're looking at this from the lens of the New World Order and the Bilderberg Group, which is what we're watching, how does that work with or against the socialists, the left?
It's completely different. It's completely different. It's completely the left hates banks. The left wants to get rid of all money. The left hates surveillance. The left rails on this stuff literally all the time.
Okay.
The left are globalists, but not in the same way that these guys are globalists.
So do you think that these two groups will eventually end up clashing?
Yes. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, that's what I've been saying the entire time, is people think these people work together because you can say, oh, they're both globalists, they must be on the same team. Well, are the Red Sox and the Yankees on the same team? No. They both play baseball.
Sport. Yeah.
They both play baseball.
Yeah.
They both want to win the World Series, but it just means they're gonna fight at some point.
That helps my brain understand. Okay, because I kind of visioned it as like, the WEF and all those guys, and up in the upper echelon, sitting back going, oh yeah, look, the socialists are at it again. Let them have their game. Yeah. They'll just destroy, and then we'll come clean it up.
And in America, they're going to be a big problem for them because the left is way too. It doesn't fucking matter. The left has been tricking you guys for the better part of a century. You have no fucking clue what's going on now. You have no fucking clue what was going on back then. And what has gone on in America that these guys have no fucking clue how to contend with. The left is so decentralized and so fucking massive. I don't think they have any idea how big of a monster it is. So whatever, it doesn't really. I don't like either of them, and they're going to fight at some point anyway.
So we've got two separate camps.
Yep.
Thinking they're in control, or one's going.
Oh, the left thinks they're losing. The left doesn't think they're in control.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. These are two completely and nothing this guy is saying is lining up with what the left is actually doing.
But isn't it interesting that it's just similar enough to get people like I just did to correlate it?
Well, because this is what the media has trained people to do. This is what conservative influencers have literally trained people to do. I can identify a conservative bullshit talking point like 8 miles away, and like people come into the chat all the time and they say this bullshit talking point, and then I go, oh, I know exactly where you got that from reason X, Y, and they go, I'm not even a conservative, and I'm like, well, you're listening to conservative media then, because you're getting. I know exactly where you're getting this talking point from.
Who are you more concerned about? Because it seems like the socialists are more local, right? Is that because they're more local, or you think they'll be?
No, I think the radical revolutionary far left is completely has completely taken over. Essentially, I think there are more of them than people understand, and I think that in America they are the most powerful. They just don't know it.
Concerned, like, so they're not really worried about the rest of the world. Like, let them take care of themselves right now.
Yeah,
but it's just a distraction, and they're maybe the left is kind of capitalizing on that distraction a little bit.
The left doesn't know about the left doesn't follow any of this shit. The left doesn't know about any of this stuff.
Wow.
They don't talk
I
about
don't
it.
know, but I think some of them
they
do.
know. No, I don't think as much as you might think. They know that obviously they know the WEF is a thing. They know about kind of like the basic mise-en scène of this stuff. They don't pay attention to any of this. They don't care about it. They don't talk about it. It's not part of their conversation at all. It's not like on the right where the right is kind of like obsessed with this sort of stuff. The left, there's, I mean, like, and people in the chat can back me up here. There is a complete void of information on the left about this topic. They do not talk about it. It's not on any of their event schedules. It's not in any of the, like how many different I hate to go on like a rant, but like how many different leftist organizations do we watch? And when we watch an organization, we don't just watch one piece of content. We go through their entire catalog.
Yeah.
We may not watch every single thing, but we know generally what they're talking about. There is a complete void of information, anything related to this topic. They do not talk about it.
And so when you're talking about the left, we aren't talking about the elitist left, like the Clintons and that kind of stuff.
They're not on the left. They're fascists. They're not on the
okay.
left.
And those are the ones that are in the Bilderberg Group and other things like that. So they're the ones that think they're in control, or are, at least for now. But it looks like I kind of see the dynamic in play. I'm understanding it a lot better. Thank you for answering my questions. I appreciate that.
Yeah, I don't mean to be a dick about it, but I
get it.
I know my shit on this issue, and it's just like, and again, it's like, what did I say about this guy at the very beginning? I was like, I don't know if I trust him because he's talking like one of those people, and then he starts doing the same old conservative bullshit talking point. And do you think, like, if this guy is actually involved with these people, do you think he didn't know what he was doing when he was giving this interview? He's saying exactly what he's supposed to be saying.
Yeah, you're probably right. I'm interested in how it plays out globally if, say, the left agenda takes over here as it's seeming to trend. And then let's say the globalist elites take over the rest. Like, how is that going to wax out? I wonder.
Say, like, I think it's going to be constant civil war and civil disobedience here. Honestly,
oh,
that's what it's
goody.
going to be.
We're going to be a third world country.
The left are street fighters.
This is why I'm going to the country, Karlyn.
The left, what has the left been doing in Portland for months? They've literally staked out an area outside of an ICE facility. They've been attacking an ICE facility every day for months.
Yeah.
And that's just one little group. And they're way ahead. Like imagine that in every single city, and imagine you have these globalist institutions. Like Antifa would, first of all, Antifa would swell dramatically if that happened. Like, everyone would be recruited over to Antifa, and they'd be doing exactly what they're doing in Portland. All of them. It'd just be constant bullshit and violence.
It's so upsetting. I can't now. I have another conspiracy to worry about. Well, it's not a conspiracy that you're talking about. It's actually happening. But I think this is happening too. So I'm not agreeing with this guy. I don't mean, but I mean,
still don't know what you're talking about. But see, I get people that are new in my chat all the time that, and all due respect, they think they know everything about everything. You are still, I mean, completely brand new, and you barely know anything. So if you think I'm going to take, like, no, we're not doing this. We're not playing this game. You do not know as much as you think you know. Period.
It's a learning curve. I'm trying to, because I like to put the puzzle pieces together, and I think Maui may be doing the same thing where we're trying to put the puzzle pieces together. And in my imaginings, like, why wouldn't a big new world order government not know what's going on here?
Is highly decentralized, and they don't pay attention to what's actually going on.
Well, they're not finding those little the videos that you are, which are just like little group here, little group there, teachables over here, teachers over there. And so I can see what you're saying. There's no attention on it at all.
There's no attention on it. No one's looking at it.
It's an interesting point. Okay.
So Muslim Brotherhood is also another right-wing talking point meant to scare right-wingers. The left doesn't actually even care about any of that stuff. So
no, they don't give a shit.
They don't give a fuck.
Yeah. Okay, cool. Thank you for indulging me. I appreciate that.
No worries.
Now, when I saw their intentions behind it, where they were coming from when they created it, the thought of it, I saw the evil behind what I thought was a noble adventure.
But let me tell you something. When 150 of the most powerful men and women in the world can meet in secret in Baden-Baden, Germany, and plot the fate of billions, and nobody even cares about it, but 6 football players go to lunch together, and it's in the headlines across the country, you have a reflection of the society in which that exists. And it is a sick society that is doomed to self-destruction.
So based on that scenario, there's some truth into what these men are looking at.
Absolutely, and that's what makes me so sick, is that I'm trying to wake up a people who on a daily basis are proving the ones that I'm warning them about to be right.
Mm-hmm. Well, so that even though a minority, there are people out there that you recognize are awake to this, if they don't do something about it, they will lose that ability to be free in that way.
That's correct.
Whether they might think, well, I don't need to worry about it because I know what I know and I'm fine.
That's
It doesn't
right.
work that way. There's a connection here to everything.
That is correct. That is absolutely correct. A nation of people who are willing to send their sons and daughters that they profess that they love to a foreign country to die, and they use the excuse to themselves that they're sending them off to defend our country, and they know damn well that's a lie, are doomed.
With new ideas. About 100 years ago, this big organization with many...
The other thing I want to say too, and I like it is so like I've been in all these Twitter spaces for months and months and months, listening to groups of men talk.
Yeah,
and it's been very informative to me in terms of like how men communicate with each other, and it's actually kind of like a fascinating psychological case study. We've talked about it a little bit, where they get very like men,
bro,
like,
bro,
it's like you can see they get in man zone with it. But it's fascinating to listen to them talk to each other, because again, it's one of those situations where I have followed the stuff long enough that they're talking about where I understand it, right? I don't want to talk about it a lot. And you get these men up on the stage talking where they sound exactly like the two men that we just watched, where they're doing these, where they say they feel like confident, they're like, they feel like they're like mission focused and they know what they're talking about. But when you actually listen to the content of what they're saying, you know they're full of shit and they don't actually know what they're talking about. But they're putting on a good show for the other men, because this is just how men
they're saying all the words. All the words are being said.
They're talking like men talk to other men with confidence, like they know what they're talking about, but they have no fucking clue. And so whenever I see a man like take that sort of like man posture, I'm just like, bro, you're so full of shit. Like I don't believe a word you say. And you might fully believe everything you say, and you might feel like you're on some mission from God, because a lot of these people are they also feel like they're on some spiritual journey to wake people up and save the world and all this stuff. And I'm like, you are full of shit.
Well, just like any kind of heteronormative group that like gets together, they feed each other. You know, you feed off each other and you feed each other. Chicks getting together do the same thing. It's like, this maybe not be how we talk normally every day or just to a friend personally, but you're in a big room of girls, we're going to go off on the thing and we're just going to escalate. Same thing with guys. And so it's not just like, it's a lot of posing is what it is.
Yeah. And they know they're on camera, and they know this interview is going to be on video, and they want to look their bad. They want to like look all this stuff, but it's like, you're full of shit. I can tell I can tell by the cadence in which you're talking that you are doing man talk right now.
Mm-hmm. All the words of wordiness are being worded.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Branches. They wanted to rule the world basically using Britain as a nucleus of a system, an embryo, which also
this is intellectual
with the
face
US, under the Anglo-American establishment.
Very serious.
Wrote about the kind of culture and the changes of culture over a 100-year period that they would actually design.
This is so
implement,
like edited badly too.
I know. I don't know why this was tacked on to the end.
Too. He talked
it's
about
like this dreamy music.
Arenas. He says arenas could be put up across the world for sports, for instance. Now, at that time, sports was something that children, school children were into. Adults became adults and got onto adult things. So it was unimaginable at the time that people could actually believe that there was even a need for adult sports and entertainment, never mind having arenas built across the world.
But adult entertainment.
Yeah,
and,
well, sometimes.
Foist basically a sports culture for the males. Using a tribal system, we're all tribal to an extent. That's why we even bother to vote for a tribal leader. This is well understood. That's why we're supplied with these leaders. And because the average man was to become more disengaged from his own destiny as the expert class arose, it was decided that the males would get their outlet basically.
Tommy's right. We are dirty. We
gradually
minxes.
becoming helpless
It's bad
as
when girls
males
get together.
through sports. Therefore, they'd have a tribal team you could identify with.
Oh
That's why I don't hang out with
They
women.
could,
We're so
choose
raunchy.
them on, so they
It's
were
bad.
winning. In their own personal lives, they were getting nowhere. They were getting disenfranchised in a sense as experts took over decision making for them in all kinds of fields. So this was psychology at use, planned before they even implemented the sports.
That's why they pay athletes these fantastic salaries. I was listening to the radio the other day.
Right here.
They just contracted to pay one player on one team $6 million a year. Can you believe this?
And why is that?
It's the Roman circus. What does the emperor do when the people become
Sure,
rescued?
we'll do that sometime.
And when the people are asking questions, and when the people don't like the policies of the emperor, he sends them to the circus. He creates a circus. He builds a giant coliseum. And he begins to throw the Christians to the lions. And he has great chariot races and football games and basketball games, all to keep the idiots preoccupied with things that don't mean anything in the scheme of the entire world, so that they don't have the time to learn what the truth is, so they don't ever get smart enough to learn how they're being manipulated, so they don't ever question the emperor. That's why they pay a player on a football team or a baseball team $1 million or $2 million or $3 million.
Had a baby spider try to land on me.
Oh God!
What is
Kill
happening?
it! Kill it with fire!
It's just a little teeny baby, but I can't save it. He's too small. So yeah, he went in the garbage. Sorry,
who plays third base for the Mets.
Incarnate somewhere nice.
And they think that's a great accomplishment. And they meet and pat each other on the back and bond and go have cocktails and talk about what this guy that plays third base for the Mets did in last night's game.
Honestly, this is so outdated now because now it's all like something, whatever video went viral.
Yeah.
Nobody
all right, that's it. I actually really liked the Bilderberg documentary overall, even though I was shitting on man talk at the end. But like, I enjoyed the whole like conspiracy of the world leaders, and I liked the whole protesting outside the hotel thing with everyone yelling at them. Just 'cause, like that's just like good fun. You got all these rich people that are like right there. You got all these like hooligans like, yeah, fuck you guys.
Scream it for all of us. Yeah.
That was fun, Jennifer. That was a good night. So we'll do the conspiracy of everything starting next week, and we'll do a 2-parter.
Dude, if you liked this one even a little bit, next week is the best of the best of the best. Every conspiracy theory all wrapped up into a nice little tidy package. No, there's not a whole. I mean, there's communism stuff in it, but I'm sure you're gonna probably have some.
I'm gonna be like, here's why this is wrong for reason X, Y, B, and Z.
It doesn't matter because it's the left.
Fuck you guys.
This, I think this video came out like 10 months ago or something, but I guess it kept getting taken down and then it was re-released and now it's staying up. But it covers everything from the Illuminati to the Bilderberger to the aliens to the reptilians, spirituality. It wraps everything up. It is so much fun. I listened to it while I was packing boxes today and I was like, oh my God, you guys are going to love this so much. So I'm excited. Yeah, we have to split it up into 2 because it is 3 hours long.
Yeah. See, Jennifer is so much nicer than me. She previews all the videos to make sure they're good. I show up 15 minutes beforehand and I'm like, maybe we can watch this. It'll be fine. So apparently your nails turned out, they're blue.
They're like that. They're the same color
like
as that slime that I have, that it's like iridescent purple and blue.
Mm-hmm. I was thinking, I used to get my nails done like all the time. I used to go, there's a nail place like right down the street from me. I used to go get my nails done and with the nail polish that wouldn't chip off for like 2 weeks.
The gel nails. Oh,
yep. And then you have to put them under the light, but it was just like, it's so great because then it was on and it didn't go anywhere.
Yeah, it didn't chip off. Mine always chip off on the ends after a few days.
But now I have no reason to get my nails done anymore.
I don't, because I was an esthetician. And so when I'm working with my hands and I'm touching someone's face, I want them to see that the underside of my nails is clean.
Mm-hmm.
Because I've seen people with like you nail polish or they have the fake nails and there's so much gunk that can get stuck under there and it's gross. And so I wanted people to know when I was touching their face and working on their skin that my nails were clean. They could see everything. So now that I'm not doing it anymore, I have nail polish. And I was like, I used to paint my nails. Let me try doing that again. So just for fun.
Why not?
Yeah.
All right. Well, I guess that's all we have for tonight, Jennifer. Do you have any other announcements that you would like to make?
Yes, indeed. Let me pull up movie night. I know what I'm doing. I just have to remember what Mac's doing. We watched Pitch Black last night, which was a total blast.
Yeah, if people want to join for movie night, you can come join the supporter Discord by becoming a member on my Substack, and you can find the link in the description below. But we do movie nights on Sundays and Mondays. Jennifer runs Sundays. MacB runs Mondays. What do we have coming up for movie night?
For our anniversary month is August, so we are in the 3rd year of movie night, and we are doing Back to School Through the Decades. We have done the 60s and 70s, and now we are going to go to the 80s, my favorite. We're doing 16 Candles this Sunday for some fun 80s fun. And isn't that the one with there's so many politically incorrect jokes that like this movie could not get made today at all, and it's worth it just for that. It is so much fun. It's such a funny movie. And of course, the great Molly Ringwald, who was sort of the poster child for all the poor little rich girl brats of the 80s. And then Big Mac movie night, Mac Daddy for Monday movie night is doing, let me scroll down. What month are we in? August. He is doing, I'm going to have to be there for this. Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back.
No shit. That's a great movie.
It's so, I fucking love that. I love Jay and Silent Bob. I choked down Clerks. I didn't quite understand it. I mean, I understood it, but I didn't think it was funny. And then I caught some of the jokes later, and it was that I laughed.
Why haven't we watched Clerks for movie night? Clerks is a fucking awesome movie.
Do I need to put it on my list?
Oh, we need to put that on the list. How have we not watched Clerks for? I want to watch Dogma too. Dogma is actually my favorite Jay and Silent Bob movie. I thought Dogma was just awesome.
It's the best. Let's see. In fact, let's see. We're talking December. Dogma
All of
would
their
be a
movies
good...
are good. What, like Chasing Amy, Mallrats. Mallrats is a classic.
I think Mallrats I just couldn't get into. I don't think I saw Chasing Amy. But what was the other one we're talking? Oh, we're gonna do. You're gonna enlighten me on Schindler's List in December.
Oh, Schindler's List is just fake. We're like that's the beginning and the end. It's fake. It's fake. You can look at the Wikipedia. It's fiction. It's not real. It's not real. It's based on a fictional book.
That, you know what? That was such a psyop. I swear to God.
Yes, Jennifer. Yes. And now extrapolate that out to literally everything else. Literally every other thing. If they can do that with a movie, can't they do that with many movies and many propaganda efforts over the course of, I don't know, like almost 100 years?
I'm sure that we are not being shown the truth in most ways, and I'm still gonna have to look at the Schindler's List thing because I was so hook, line, and sinker with that. The Schindler Jews all showed up at the end of the movie, and I'm like, oh, that's so beautiful. But I got fooled by a fucking documentary about mermaids about 12 years ago too. So
you just have to assume every single thing is fake.
I want to believe. Oh,
everything. In fact, I should just put that on a T-shirt. Everything is fake and gay. I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna make a T-shirt with some guy screaming out of a megaphone. Everything is fake and gay.
Have it be like it has to be like a Pepe Frog because like the frog's gay from Alex Jones. That would be like meta.
I feel like that's a little too cliche though. I want to be a little bit more original than that. We'll figure it out. The design will manifest. It's now cooking and it's gonna manifest at some point.
Yeah, or a little clown, or a little emo clown, or a goth clown. That might be fun.
Yeah, or like, oh, I should do the Steamboat Willie thing. Everything is fake and gay.
Indeed. Okay, I think that's everything I have. So, and then we've got everything planned for the next couple of weeks. And then steady as she goes.
Cool. All right. Well, you're going to come and join us to watch Leather BDSM Queer Kink tomorrow at 5 p.m.
I wrote a sticky note. I have it. Where did I put it? Oh my God.
Spider ate it.
That or the moth. I even wrote my friend's name from England.
Queer BDSM Leather Kink tomorrow 5 p.m. Eastern.
It's on this one. I got it. Okay. 5 p.m. Eastern.
It's gonna be awesome.
Okay.
All right. Well, that's all we have for tonight, guys. Thank you for coming out. We do DISENRAGE every Tuesday night at 9 p.m. Make sure you subscribe. Make sure you like the video, all that stuff. And we'll be back next week, I guess. All right. Bye.